Good morning. It is Friday, December the 19th. This is expected to be our final meeting of the calendar year 2025. Please let us start the same way we did the others with a pledge to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sounded pretty good.
We're getting better.
You're getting better.
Yeah, we're making more progress. I forgot today, though.
Commissioner Riddell.
Here.
Commissioner Moore.
I am here.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Here.
We have a quorum. Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Number 2, appropriations.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion. Casey, is there anything here that you'd like to expand upon?
Similar messaging than that we had on Tuesday's board meeting. A lot of accounting, essentially corrective measures, basically to get us balanced for the year end. These are pretty standard as we approach the year end, working in conjunction with the auditor's office and some of the other departments to make sure all their funds are balanced out. You'll see large appropriations, specifically down to the sanitary engineer. Those are corrective measures. Those aren't actual, that's not money that will be going out. Those are balancing measures to, along with these appropriations, there's also revenue estimates on the flip side to make these net zero. So again, a lot of corrective accounting measures here to, again, just to make sure we're all tied up with a bow for the end of the year.
Okay. Thank you. And on that particular issue, I appreciate for the public as well as myself that you make the notes on the back that this is for issue 2 funding that we received from the state, so that the everybody can be aware of the revenue that we are working to attract from the state and federal government.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Number 3, there were no transfers. Number 4, there were no advances or repayments. Number 5, no requisitions. Number 6, no travel. Number 7, bills.
Page 1 is general fund. Can we have page 2? Again, you'll see that this is towards the end of the year and things have been done, so the list of bills is short. Move to approve.
We got another page, don't we?
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, at this point, I would like to lay out there for further consideration. The auditor has followed through on some of our conversations on expediting red tape and paperwork and has given us an outline of what could be done if we were to raise the threshold. Right now, all of the bills, you'll see some of them are $32, $35 and so forth, that we could handle those by raising the threshold, and we could eliminate a lot of paperwork. The paperwork for $32, I think everyone would understand it exceeds $32. So we're exploring some new policies, and we'll be back in the new year with discussions with the administrative team on the impact of changing some of these things so that we can avoid some of this red tape.
Anything further? Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
No executive session.
I don't
correct?
think we're going right.
No executive session.
Okay.
Public comment on agenda items.
Okay, let me get caught up. We have
Bless you.
Or he was.
Okay, Brian Baker, 15 and 20. You were moving already, so I took advantage of it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive, Brownhelm Township. So I would ask on 15, and more, maybe it's more of a clarification, because I think there was a lot of campaigning in 2020 that we wouldn't run on unvoted taxes. And I remind you guys that in May of the election in 2022, this same 3% excise tax lost by 6,225 votes. I'm not saying it's not needed for the Visitors Bureau, but we talk about going to the people, and I've sat through all of the meetings up here and say, our constituents are telling us we got a mandate, we want it voted on. This here is implementing, not going to the people. So that's my first point. My second point is, I sat through most of the budget hearings, and hopefully I'm in the right section here on 20, talks about approving it. I sat through pretty much all of them, I think, for 2 of the budget hearings. I had a conversation with you, Commissioner Riddell, and you, Commissioner Moore. I asked when we were going to have a budget hearing with the people that fell under Mr. Armbruster. And because I think the public should know there's another piece of it, not just taking all the elected officials and asking them to put back, but what did we take out of the budget from what was here? And maybe that'll be explained today, and if it is, I do apologize. But I want to do for the public, I want to make something known. There's 11 people that normally sit around these seats up here, including up there, not including Teresa. In those 11 people, it's almost $1.2 million in wages alone. So I think that we need to say, how do we need to justify that? I mean, I have the names, I pulled all the information, and just remember, that's wages only. That's not benefits. On behalf of that, I think your pension's 21%, I think, and I don't know the health care anymore because there's been so many changes, I don't have that number. So what I would say is, we're going to talk about transparency, and Commissioner Riddell, you read me a definition sometime back at one of these meetings about transparency. Transparency is there to talk about it. If we have issues, I come out of the construction trade. I negotiated agreements. If it was tight, we said, hey, we got to take a 0 this year, or we got to take a give back. I don't know that that's happening here, but we basically did all the other people, what are we giving back? And the easiest one to give back is the capital improvement account, because it was never here before. They put money into it. It's the easiest one to pull back. I understand you got to maintain your buildings, and I like it when you maintain your buildings because our guys get to work. But I would say is, that's the easiest one to pull money back. With that, I say thank you, and I did sign up for public comment at the end, Jeff, just so you know, because a couple times you don't recognize me at the end. If I'm still here, I'd like to speak then too, sir. Thank you.
Yes, and you'll like the news of the meeting.
What's that?
Said you'll like the news of the meeting.
All right.
William Zimmerman, item 20.
Morning, William Zimmerman, Avon Lake. So much as Mr. Baker was talking about finances and employment and wages, and yet I don't understand how Mr. Armbruster and Ms. Perkins make $280,000 between the two of them for 11 months. I think that's well overpaid. I don't know what their job description is. I don't have that information. My problem is that I hear at trustee meetings that I've been attending to, they talk about how Mr. Armbruster comes in and he's trying to bully them into this 6119. Is that part of the job description? Talk about transparency. We should know where our money's going and what they're doing with it and how they're trying to force feed this 6119 down to the people in the lower part of the county. I don't understand that process. I don't think that's the way we should be doing business. We should be having open discussion about it, just like we talked about at the Avon Lake School Board meeting. My problem still is, though, is that we don't get those moments of transparency, and I don't understand why not. Meeting the other day, trustees were saying that Mr. Greenspan never provided them with information. How is that transparent? There's an overwhelming distrust about this commission. I don't understand why anybody would vote for a levy or anything having to do with money for you all. That's why the deputies or the sheriff's department went down 5-1. Need to get back to the roots of what it is. You're elected officials who represent the people, period. Do what the people ask. Talk to them. Find out. Thank you for my time.
Gerald Phillips?
Before I use my time, I want to make a suggestion and a comment.
That's your time.
What?
It's part of your time.
Well-
Have at it.
All right, number 15, Mr. Baker answered most of my questions. I have a couple other ones, and I want answers to them. I want to answer what the current rate is, and I want to know how much the annual collection is. And I agree with him, the people should have the right to vote. And number 14, I want to know what the nature of the class action lawsuit is. And as far as 21, we're creating another board, more bureaucracy, more costs, more expense when we got a budget deficit. You know, tell me the rationale why we should change something that is working right now. As far as my 2 minutes, you know, we get 2 minutes. If you want to speak on more than one agenda item, I think that's unfair, discriminatory, and I think you should change this stupid rule.
That was only 45 seconds. Okay,
Thank you for returning some of your time to us.
okay, what's next, old business?
Old business.
Old business. I want to address something oddly enough, it got touched upon here already this morning. But a week ago, a local newspaper decided to give up a 6-month-old event, dig it up, and try and make a story out of it in the grand scheme of things. Must have been a slow news day, or maybe a political favor to someone who disagrees with something we are trying to do to better the community and lives in Lorain County. Don't know. But this paper discontinued its practice of op-eds, a vehicle for counterpoint to their editorials. Used to be fair and balanced, but maybe they couldn't take what they dished out. Said I could do a letter to the editor, but 250 words or less, even though their editorials run 4 times that. But the op-eds were next to the editorial in the old days and easy for folks to compare. Maybe they just want their opinion out and not interested in the real news, the rest of the story, as Paul Harvey would say. But I woke up and figured out if I do it here in a meeting, in a public meeting where it started, that the 250 words don't apply. And just maybe they will recognize the rest of the story. To the issue. When I got here, there was a thing called a personnel summary sheet. It summarized hires, fires, raises, discipline, all employees of the commissioners, but not the other electeds. And there are 12, how many, David? There are 19, 16 others besides us and their staffs. Could not find a reason why it started, could not find a reason why it was required, so we eliminated it. Excess red tape at the expense of our employees. And yes, while we represent the taxpayers and the laws they have passed, like public document requests, we are also employers, and the taxpayers charge us with retaining good employees and making sure they are productive. Simply said, we have to release the information if requested, and several have spoke to the fact that system works. And we know that when we sign on, but our day-to-day issues and trials do not need to be advertised, and the other electeds avoid this privacy issue already. We must balance the needs of employees and the rights of the taxpayers who feed us all. And as a mere one line of a large story stated, all the information that was listed above on the personnel summary sheet is available by public records request. And if someone has a concern that needs information or whatever their reason is, If you want to know what your neighbor makes, you can get it. It ain't easy up here, but my last idea, maybe the management at this local paper will release their salaries and their discipline records. Print them in the paper, equal advertisement. Maybe even given the approaching new year and the opportunity for improvement, we can resurrect the op-ed or follow the lead of the other major local newspaper and don't try and force one side on the reading public to make news. Maybe just report the news. Thank you.
Well said.
Is there anything, other old business?
Any other old business?
Okay. Board business, number 9, approve and waive the reading in the county commission meeting minutes of December 16th.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Dow?
Aye.
Number 10, approve and enter a service agreement with Minutemen HR Risk Management Services, Inc., Cleveland, in the amount of $18,500, monthly rate of $1,541.66 for claims administrator for workers' comp. This is effective January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 28, and will be paid from the consulting services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Dow?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
11, appoint IT Director Todd Sharkey as County Chief Information Security Officer in accordance with Lorain County Cybersecurity Program Charter and in compliance with the ORC 9.64B.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Do we want to discuss this or just,
Why don't we pick it up on 12?
okay.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 12, adopt Lorain County Cybersecurity Plan in compliance with the ORC 9.64.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
No.
Go ahead, go ahead. I'm just asking, do you guys want to discuss this or what?
Oh, this is the, there's about 150 pages. It'll be attached to the website. Obviously, with public records request, we can distribute those as well. But this is a result of the world that we live in, and the Ohio Assembly has passed several pieces of legislation this past year. One indicating that the commissioners are responsible for and in charge of cybersecurity for the county. This is not meant to seize power in any way. It's a job that we don't want, but it's a job that is necessary nonetheless in today's world with those that want to hack into things and get information and data that they shouldn't get. But what it is an attempt by the legislature to see to it that what we have currently in the state of Ohio, not just Lorain County, but the state of Ohio, a fragmented approach to cybersecurity. And that leads to breaches, and it leads to problems and exposure that gets to be very expensive in a hurry. So at this point, Todd, would you like to address your new job?
Title.
Yes. New title. Thank you. Yes, thank you, Commissioners. Just wanted to clarify, cybersecurity stuff is protected and is not public record. So we'll have to make sure only the information that is available to go out can go out under that, because otherwise we give our threat actors information about what we're doing inside our systems, and we don't want to do that. Secondly, I want to thank all the people that from the other departments that met with us to go over some of this stuff initially. We worked with our consultant Conversant, who does this for a living, protecting us, and they're one of the reasons why we were able to weather that storm back in May. And so I want to thank them for everything they did, and of course my team for how they just continue to support me and the organization. And again, we got a great IT group across the entire organization. There's some really, really good guys over in the courts, over at the prosecutor's office. They do some marvelous work, and I think this will be a way for all of us to work together and a much better, closer organization. And this will be our first, this is our first cybersecurity plan, and what we'll probably have to do is make some modifications. Things change, but we know that's coming. But this will help us as a county be more secure, and just give us that sense of confidence when it comes to that, and set some standards for everybody that they'll need to meet. So that'll be good.
I'd like to make a comment. Todd, when this all went down, you really stepped up to the plate. You rallied everybody together. You went into overdrive probably fivefold, weekends, evenings, Sundays, Saturdays, everything. It doesn't matter. You did a spectacular job. You ultimately, in my opinion, saved millions of dollars in potential loss. Thank you for all you did. Well deserved to be appointed for that position.
Thank you, sir.
Well, the work that you did, amazingly, I know Commissioner Waddell was over talking at the Justice Center when we got hit. And people were talking about starting their own, creating fiefdoms. And that's kind of why we had the issue in May, because everybody had their own little islands. And I think the work that you did working as a team with everybody over there, and I'm going to say that number, which is 88% of the elected officials that participated in helping you, you've sold them on your integrity, and that we're not here to take over their day-to-day. We're here to build a protection around the whole county. Hopefully the other 12% will come on board, and we'll find out today how that works. I'll bring it up again later in one of the items. But I thought the fact that most of the electeds, and it was good, on Saturdays and Sundays, we worked with the judges. They came in. And I won't say the judge's name, but it was, I got to like her a lot more and how feisty she could get. And so it was one of those rare moments where you saw all the electeds kind of coming together, and all your IT departments and all the separate ones, which 25 years ago when I tried to do this, and it wasn't as high tech then, as it is now, I tried to create at least an IT department and a help desk, and I just couldn't fight those individual fiefdoms. And it seems like, I think you proved to everybody that we're all here for the same reason,
And yeah, and just to, when it comes to cybersecurity, it's not a matter of if, it's when.
Yep.
And having in place the structure that we need is the key to battling this, and that's what we're going to try to do. Like you said, we're not here to run your day-to-day operations. I see this as more of us reaching out and helping these other departments be able to be more secure. Mm-hmm. And that's the key. It's not us trying to take over. It's us aligning with them and moving things forward in that direction.
Well, that's all our vendor told us. He said nothing's 100%. Yep. But hackers are going to, if it's difficult to break through, they're going to go to an easier county.
Right.
They're going to go to an easier business. So our job is just to make it extremely difficult.
Yep.
And like I said, the word threat actor was a new word.
Yes, that was a new word. I'd never heard it termed that way as threat actor, but until...
It was interesting to see the communications from this individual. God knows where he was from, or she was, but yeah, it was some scary times for a couple weeks there. So I appreciate the work you guys did.
Yeah, the team did a great job. I got an alert while we're in the meeting of something going on somebody's computer, and
Mm-hmm.
Having that ability to see that and shut it down right away is huge key. Mm-hmm. That's what we do.
Yeah. And to build on that, as many of you know, I'm a real history buff, and there's an old axiom, and I don't remember the famous person that said it, but it's hard to define character, but in a time of crisis, you can see it. And we did that when we had the breach this year, and everybody came together, and there were no fiefdoms, there were no silos, there was a problem. And the good news was that we were 88% protected, and through some work that had been done by the commissioners before that. And for the last time in 2025, probably not the last time ever, but for the last time in 2025, I'm reminded of the Alamo. And the Alamo was actually a stockade. It wasn't a building. Inside the stockade was a creek. There were farm fields, acres, houses, a church. It was a community inside a stockade. And everybody lived their life in that community, and they were independent and families and so forth, but they had the stockade. And what we're doing here today is is finishing the last touches on formalizing the stockade. We're not here to run anybody's department. We're not here to run anybody's servers. We're not here to run their software. We're just to see to it that the bad guys leave us alone. Because if you get one of us, you get us all. And I thank Dave for bringing up the fact that we were having a meeting on cybersecurity because we had had the breach, and we were having a meeting with the courts on cybersecurity. It didn't affect us, it didn't affect them. But while we were meeting, that same threat actor tried to get from where he was already in to the clerk of courts, where he would have had access to all the information for people that are under the care and watch of the clerk of courts and the judicial system. So the system works, but you have to pay for it. And because they want it to be countywide, they made the commissioners in charge of the budget to get that done, and we accept that task. It's 88% done, and we're going to have 100 real soon.
Soon.
Plus the insurance too, those.
Yep.
Well, that's the other
Yeah.
item is the insurance company informed us if you're not all together and you don't have what's going on, we don't appreciate the risk, and we'll have a hard time writing the policy.
Yep. And that's why also the state's requiring the standards here too. So
Yeah, this was all coming from the
coming
state.
all from the state, from insurance, and that's, what we're trying to do is just meet those obligations.
And that's lawyers and insurance companies.
The tragic incident that happened broke down a bunch of barriers between government agencies, which was the caveat to
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah, I just want I want to say that day that we went through all this, it was really that time frame, really, even though we were breached, the county shined. The way the elected officials all came together across all of them to work together to solve this problem together was really a tribute to everybody on that team.
And to those that sometimes wonder about the salaries of the people here at Lorain County government, know that this security firm had been engaged and it had stalled. It was not making progress. And one of the first things that we uncovered when we got here under the new leadership of Mr. Armbruster was the fact that the cybersecurity company was having a hard time getting the cooperation to perform its job. And within 30 days, we added Mr. Sharkey to the team, and we set forward to do that. And the living proof of the quality that we paid for and got was that our administrative team and our vendor staved off a threat actor that could have had everybody in the county had it not been for the work done since the arrival of Mr. Armbruster and Mr. Sharkey.
Yep.
So thank you, both.
You're welcome.
Anything further?
That's it.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Dell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 13, adjust the salary of Avon Lake Municipal Court employee, which reflects the county's 2/5 share, effective January 1st of '26, which is Clerk of Court Buddy Byers at a rate of $1,188.38, and Bailiff Michelle Miller Parks at a rate of $1,092.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
14, Board of Commissioners retaining Dunn Isaacson Ray LLP firm to represent Lorain County in class action lawsuit 17 CV 191670, authorizing request that Paul Weiss firm immediately release and transfer its representation and complete file of the Lorain County Board of Commissioners in class action suit 17 CV 191670 in Lorain County Court of Common Pleas to Dunn Isaacson Ray LLP firm, this medical mutual.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion.
Yeah, this is merely a transfer. This is not new litigation. This is a transfer of this particular case from one firm to another due to some issues with performance of the first firm.
Do you want her to comment, or?
Would you like to comment, Lee? I figured you
I
must
guess
have
this is kind
kicked
of
Dave,
Lee's.
so he said, yeah.
Yeah, she was. No.
Well, it's not
Did it hurt?
necessarily, again, like you said, this litigation is really old. The plaintiffs in this case are Lorain County, Lorain City, I believe the city of Elyria, and maybe a couple of the municipalities. Just to provide some information to the public about what the litigation is for, it was initiated against Medical Mutual of Ohio out of concerns for benefits that were being provided to the employees, a suggestion that they had engaged in unjust enrichment and some violation of Ohio deceptive trade practices, and the manner in which they did business with our employees. So the idea here is really to protect everybody who's working for the county, and then in addition, cities also had the same concerns. So what they were trying to do is make sure that Medical Mutual was held accountable and continues to be held accountable with regard to this lawsuit, in the way that they are covering all the employees statewide. And I don't know whether or not there might be other lawsuits in other counties. I believe we also have possibly some sort of a federal lawsuit that's taking place, and it might be in a court in D.C. I'm not terribly familiar with that, but I believe our firm here that we're transferring to is in fact a firm that's out of D.C. and it's now sort of been a spin-off of attorneys that have left that firm and taken their business to their own firm so that they can focus a little bit more exclusively on litigation like this. So it should be a benefit to all of us, not necessarily even just Lorain County, but the other plaintiffs in the case.
Thank you.
Anything?
Any other? Sorry, that's
Anything
Teresa's
further?
line.
That's okay. Commissioner Duff,
Aye.
Commissioner Moore,
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
If you notice the number, it's from the year 2017.
That's correct.
Okay, just let people know. It's not new, so.
Old. Number 15, enacting, adopting, and providing for the implementation of a countywide excess tax of an additional 3% on all transactions by which lodging by a hotel and motel and any establishment, including fewer than 5 rooms used for the accommodation of guests for the purpose of funding the Convention and Visitors Bureau of Lorain County effective April 1st of 26.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. This is, again, it's been a very active year in Columbus, and the legislature's been listening to us a little bit more than usual. And there are some issues with the work that is provided by the Visitors Bureau and paid for by the original 3% excise tax, which, remind you, is some 90-some% paid by those who visit us. So it's not a tax on Lorain County people per se. But there have some issues have arisen in today's world, things like security, infrastructure, and those things that are necessary to provide not only for the safety of our visitors, but for the safety of our communities as we attract big events. And I return everybody's memory to the solar event that was supposed to happen that didn't happen, but many communities were overrun. Restaurants were overrun and so forth. So there was a need to do, they recognized that while this is an important industry for many counties, it also comes with a burden to the taxpayers. This 3% excise tax would be paid for by those who visit us, but they would help pay for the security and safety of the county residents who go to those events and do those things so that they also may enjoy those events. So this is one of those things where we have been given the ability by the state to deliver services to the taxpayers that are paid for, that are not paid for by the taxpayers of Lorain County. And we think it is worth its consideration. As to the question of the first 3%, you'd have to ask the commissioner on my right.
Oh, okay. Thanks. I'm the president of the Visitors Bureau. Also, there's a board of 5 individuals. When I came here in 2021, I was on the board. Things weren't, I was taking a look at the numbers and how they did things in the past. The history of the Visitors Bureau is contentious. There was issues. We hired Gary Gibbs, and he did a great job over there at the Visitors Bureau on Route 58, trying to find paperwork, trying to find the history of what happened and why. And the reason why I was having them do that and dig that up was because I felt that if we doubled it back then, we could build a convention center. And so we put it a vote to the people, and the problem was we couldn't discuss where we wanted to put it. So naturally the people said, we're not going to vote for something when we don't know where the money's going to go. What happened was I got COVID actually, and we did donate. I know Commissioner Lundy and I both donated money, as did the unions. and the marketing just wasn't enough in order to pass. We tried it one more time, it didn't pass. And I can see why, because we were using it. We formed a convention-only board. We did a lot of work on trying to have a convention hall. I can tell you right now where it was going to go. I couldn't say it at the time, but it was the whole purpose of when we started looking at the Elyria Midway Mall. I felt that a mid-size, like a Class C level to B level convention center would be perfect there. We were looking at about 150,000 to 200,000 square foot hall with what's going on at the Ag Center. We saw that coming. And that was the whole purpose and what we talked about. But again, nobody knew what we were going to build, and nobody knew where. And so it did not pass. In June of this year, the state of Ohio allowed us to use that money outside of marketing so that we can use it to help mitigate some of the expenses that this county incurs because of events that happen in our county, such as the county fair, Rocking on the River, and such, which is, extra money that the county has to endure. And so when the state of Ohio said that we were allowed to, if we pass an additional tax, we'll be allowed to use that money on other expenses, so it became an item that we started to research. In the meantime, when I came here, they had close to $3 million sitting in an account. We found 2 other accounts that was sitting dormant for 8 years, 9 years at least. We had to go open those up. Nothing was being done. And Gary Gibbs did an excellent job at getting those accounts. I know Casey worked with Gary, and you guys got those accounts open. And what we found, again, the paperwork from we think between 2010 to 2016, it was just, the record keeping was horrendous. And it looked like all they were doing, and I had this problem when I tried this job once before, 25 years ago, they were just doing brochures. And I'm a marketing guy, and that's what the Visitors Bureau is, marketing Lorain County. And so we started they were spending about $200,000 to $300,000 a year, and we're generating, because of COVID that year, about $225,000, and because of COVID. But that since then, as you see the hotels being built, you see what's going on over there, Emerald Green off of Nagle, they're expanding there. And what we're finding out is, we're averaging about between $700,000 and $800,000 a year now. But what we're doing is we're reinvesting that money into Lorain County by sponsoring things such as Rocking on the River. We're a huge sponsor in helping the Lorain City Port Authority build that facility up. That's going to be huge. The county fairgrounds built the expo. I was happy to be a part of that because it may not have been the convention center I wanted for us up here, but the fair board is a very great group of gentlemen and women that are very conservative, and we helped out by providing them with financing through our Port Authority, and we also, through our Visitors Bureau, we are sponsoring now the grandstand so that they can start using, bringing in bigger stars and promoting other activities at the expo. Gary Gibbs just came back from Vegas for an air show. Our air show, the first year was about 1,500 to 2,000 people. Last year, if you went on Russia Road, it was backed up, and we had over 10,000 participants. So Gary is working on bringing in even more entertainment for that weekend, for the air show. As Cleveland starts to shut down their Burke Lake Airport, we will be expanding ours, and hopefully we'll start taking something that really disappeared for a while and Gary brought back 4 years ago. And so we are growing that. In the meantime, we probably got a couple pages of local areas like the Amherst Historical Society's A Taste of History, LaGrange, Grafton, all these small, Wellington, they all have these communities. And what happened was, as Gary went out into the community, they were all funding their own advertising. They were doing their own marketing. And we said, no, that's our job as a county, is to market your events. And by doing so, we are now spending pretty close to the cap, between around $700,000. That's how much we are reinvesting in local radio, local newspapers, taking that money and helping out these local communities in marketing and in advertising Lorain County. I mean, I'm going to say the line I said 25 years ago. We all know how great we are, but nobody else does. They actually spent $5,000 a year when I first got here 25 years ago on marketing Lorain County in our economic development plan. And so we took a look at this bed tax, and I started thinking, you know, because I did eBay quite a bit, and then I got mad because eBay started taxing people. You know, I didn't pay the tax because let's face it, you know, I'm just a small business guy online selling stuff. So eBay started charging the sales tax, and that's how the state of Ohio and the county, that's how we benefit. We get that sales tax from a corporation. But the bed tax is on a volunteer basis. So we went down to the CCAO meeting. I was talking to, we were at an event or a meeting, and they started talking about Airbnbs. And I started realizing, you know, they said that what they did is they started going after Airbnbs because they were not paying the bed tax. So I looked at our list of those that are paying. We have about 5 that pay the bed tax. So I got in the car. We're leaving Hocking Hills, coming back up north, and I bet you I'm not even 10 minutes in the car. I told my wife, look up Lorain, just city Lorain, on bed on Airbnbs. There's like 39 or something like that. I'm like, holy cow. So the Visitors Bureau hired an individual to work for about 30 days and said, okay, your job is to see how many we got. As of right now, we're pretty close to 324 Airbnbs and VRBOs. And if I know we're only getting 5 of them paying, we need to hire some people other than Gary Gibbs. We need to hire somebody to help us not only with marketing, but they got to have collection skills. Now, that collection skills means this. We will be sending a nice letter out to everybody saying this is a tax that you're supposed to pay. We're going to also give them a second letter. The third letter, which we haven't designed yet, will be working through the prosecutor's office because they should be paying their fair share. The corporate ones are, and we're going to be being extremely aggressive on that. So in the meantime, with the work that we're doing, you have things like the Ice Fair in Main Street, over in Main Street in Vermilion. We're working on taking us. Also, we spend a lot of money on our newsletters. When you see our budget on item number, I think 20, you're going to see there's a lot of cuts. And we're going to take the Visitors Bureau, and we found out that we are allowed to do this, and we're going to be promoting us through the newsletter using Visitors Bureau funds. We're also going to be slowly getting away from paper and getting to internet-based, where we'll be doing geofencing. And the Port Authority, the City of Lorain's Port Authority does an excellent job. And Brad Mullins, who's on that board, is also on our Visitors Board. And like what you heard from Todd Sharkey, what's going on between these cities and us is really a lot of partnerships. They've already built that mousetrap. We just want to copy it. And so we're going to be working together, sharing data. Amazing when you're thinking rocking on the river. I'm not going to tell you the percentages, but there's a majority of people that come from outside Lorain County that come here. Also, we found out with geofencing that the number one restaurant that everybody goes to is Texas Roadhouse in Elyria to go rocking on the river. Okay, so this is what geofencing can do. Is Big Brother watching? Yeah, but no one's going to stop, right? So might as well take advantage of it. So there's a lot of high-tech work that we're going to start doing at the Visitors Bureau to slowly get away from the old school of marketing, get us into the new wave, get us out on social media, and start pumping this county up even more, because we're between Destination Cleveland, they got their group, and you got Shores and Island. Now, Shores and Island works great with us. Destination Cleveland got mad at us because Gary and I were very aggressive at promoting Lorain County to be the place to watch the eclipse. And we thought we'd get 1 million people here, but if you saw the eclipse, after the eclipse happened through Lorain, it was jam-packed going back into Cleveland. We grabbed all these billboards. We got a ton of news coverage from the local media because Destination Cleveland dropped the ball, and we were marketing in their backyard to come here. And so those things, like, there's so much more we can do now. Since June 30th, they passed it, and they kind of took some handcuffs off us that we can use to help mitigate some of the expenses that our general fund, which, like I said, the ask was $97 million. You're going to see today, we're not going to be funding $97 million today. But we continue as this board to keep looking for different ways to still provide services and still grow this county. And then our thing is, our goal as a visitors board is to continue to promote this county, not only for tourists, but also other ways, such as my segue to Commissioner Gallagher. So I'll let you take it,
Yeah.
the other benefits.
So the Visitors Bureau is very important in another area. One is to attract the right businesses to our local area, to attract people, to attract, obviously, visitation. And this past May, we went to the ICSC show in Las Vegas. It is a real estate show that caters towards every aspect. Even though it says shopping centers is part of the name, it's not retail only. It covers so many facets. And we did an experimental show. I come from that world. I exhibited for 40 years in my industry. I know what it takes in a trade show, and I was there the year before on my own behalf, scouting it out for the county as a citizen. But I was there for business as well. And we went there and we promoted Lorain County. We had a chain gas station come to us and say, look, we don't know if we want to do business in a lot of areas of Lorain County because of the red tape of getting through. And I'm not going to talk about the agency, but they were having stalling, and they were putting 8 gas stations in our community. And they were looking at other places. And they came to us. We were able to meet with them. They came to the office here, went down to a couple government agencies, and we cut the red tape in half. All 8 stations that they were looking at are going in. They were taking a couple years to get in. So there's an economic boost right there for us. And these are needed spots for gas stations. I looked at them all and spent quite a bit of time with them. Secondly, we had another great opportunity, and it's still not a dead deal yet, but in the city of Lorain, and I can't go into detail on it until, because it can ruin the deal. It was an entertainment type opportunity, $100 million investment. And we also had 4 people come up to us when we were talking to them, and they were retail mall redevelopers. And they came to us and said, you know what, we would like to, we're interested in your mall. And I said, I'm sorry, we're under contract. So if anything happens, we will reach back out to you about the mall. And that's what they specialize in. When we put the mall up for sale here locally, we wanted to have the local feel to it, and we chose to put an RFP out there, and people came in and did it. It's not the normal way to do it. Normal way is to advertise it on a national basis. And this coming week, we are reaching back out to those people as well as other mall developers that are listed on their trade show exhibitor list, which we have access to because we were an exhibitor last year. So that was funded by the Visitors Bureau. And there are so many other aspects to it. And this year, we're doing the show again. We're expanding the booth a little bit. The mayor of Lorain is coming. The mayor of Elyria is coming. Port Authority's, Lorain City Port Authority is coming. They realized, Lorain went last year with us, and it was an experimental thing. They flew out, paid their portion of the bill. They're excited to go back, and it does cost us money to do it. But it really comes down to the fact that we have to promote it. I want to I want to focus on industrial. We have a lot of vacant industrial buildings in this area. Let's fill them. But we also have to let people know that we're a friendly county to work with. The second fastest growing in the state, 9th largest. All those positive things about us, but a lot of people don't realize. They think Lorain, Ohio. They don't realize we have Lake Erie. They don't realize we have all these events going on and the lifestyle. And that's what we have to promote to attract these type of businesses to fill our vacancies. So when it comes down to it, it is an essential part to helping us in economic growth. And that's right up my alley. I love that type of work, and I've been really working hard at getting it there. And I can say this, that with the participation of people we have and the expansion we're going, it sounds like it's a home run.
Well, and what happened last year, because I haven't done trade shows in my industry in like 15 years. So Marty's like, oh, we're gonna have to walk around, we're gonna have to do this. Well, we never left the booth. And even the individuals that came from Lorain came back and they got a lot of activity. And so so I know the thing is, what we're doing is the Lorain County Visitors Bureau is paying for the booth. We're doubling the size, we're adding office, private areas, and the Visitors Bureau is paying for that. And the Visitors Bureau is gonna pay for their tickets, but they're gonna have to pay to fly out the other cities and the other communities. Because we waited last minute last time, and those tickets were very expensive, over $1,000. Because we're this early, it's gonna be about eight something.
$850.
$850. So,
By the way, I was encouraging people to take their CE hours, because if they're a student, it's only $50.
yeah, I know.
Just an FYI.
But, what we're out there promoting in Lorain County is what businesses today are looking for. They're looking for a quality of life for their employees. That's what they're looking for. And we provide that here. You want to live in the urban areas, you want to live in the country, you want to live in in the suburbia areas, you want to live on the lake. We provide that. The education system is fantastic here. We got one of the best community colleges in the country as far as I'm concerned. And quality of life is what we were promoting when we were out there. But some of the things that we're looking at, because down in southern Lorain County did receive quite a bit of money from the Visitors Bureau for the expo. But then Lorain received quite a bit of money. So talking to Erie County commissioners, they worked with Cedar Point, and if you notice at their airport, Griffin Airport, they turned it into a sports facility. And what they did is their Visitors Bureau earmarked 2% to do a bond in order to build that facility. And because they did that, their stays in their hotels increased tenfold. Because, Cedar Point naturally is doing it because they want people to come in, kind of like what Disney does with All-Star Sports. But they now have an excess of $6 million in their bond retirement account because of what the work they're doing there. So that got us thinking. We're actually talking to some people maybe along the eastern corridor of our county, looking at maybe bringing something at a smaller venue, but still bring that type of activities here. Gary did a good job at bringing the MAC school system for baseball, because they were actually coming here to play at Crushers, but staying in Westlake. So that's the kind of work that one man is doing for us. So we need to build that team up, and we're looking at maybe hiring, I hate to say ages, but let's face it, the younger they are, the more educated they are on the social media aspects, and and we're looking at vendors, and we're looking at promoting Lorain County on a grand scale using social media, the internet, and not only here in Lorain County, but on a national basis in really Northeast Ohio. So that's the purpose, is really to, out of the money, 66% of the money has to be tied to marketing. And the rest, pretty much, we can do what we feel is appropriate to help promote this county, meaning infrastructure items like internet, like computers, and security, like funding, help funding some of our sheriff's activities that he has to do at Rockin' on the River, that he has to do at the fair. So this is helping us with our general fund, and it's helping us promote the county, and it's helping us really grow that tax base.
And we're so used to thinking of ourselves in a certain way. It's been phenomenal as Gary and my fellow commissioners have stepped outside the county and sat with others who looked inside our county with a objective and new pair of eyes. I stayed home to, keep the business running while they were in Vegas. But
We're not fans of Vegas either.
I hate Vegas.
I hate Vegas,
I
too.
did 50 years of Vegas in the concrete business.
Yeah.
But at any rate, it's interesting, but we have an opportunity. We won't have Cedar Point like they do out to the west, and we won't have the Browns and the Cavs and the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. But with the go-kart track in Lorain, with Rockin' on the River, with air shows, with all kinds of those events, we can have a very lucrative economic development portion to the county out of being the second stop for everybody who comes to Cedar Point or Cleveland. And that's a real thing. We're 15, 20 minutes from each, and we can make this happen. But we're not used to thinking of tourism as an industry. We're used to thinking of steel and cars and so forth. But we can develop this into a real industry.
Yeah, and that's, not a big fan of taxes, but the fact is this, it's not Lorain County citizens paying it. It's people coming to Lorain County that's paying it. I can't speak for those that have afternoon delights, that's a whole nother story. But
We'll also.
Lorain County people that are
I
visiting.
wish he hadn't said that.
Well, no, I mean, the bottom line is a majority, I'd say probably 90%, 95% are being paid from people visiting here.
Yes.
And so,
We also have one of the lowest
taxes.
in the
Yeah, what's
region.
Cleveland, like 14% or something outrageous, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know, I can't remember.
I don't know the exact numbers, but we are very
Yeah,
low.
Yeah. So that's the logic involved with why this is on the agenda. I think I covered, I'm looking, I think I covered everything I needed to cover. Did you guys? Well,
Yep.
I also want to promote, the country is turning 250 years, and we are going to be very active in promoting that. And Teresa, once again, is heading that up for us at the Visitors Bureau. So stay tuned for some of the activities that will be coming, so. But we
Thank you.
can't move forward unless we get this thing going, so.
Anything else?
No. Good.
Okay.
Oh, I should repeat that the Visitors Bureau did endorse this. They voted to approve it, and that's a member of 5 people. And we meet, is it the third Thursday, fourth?
Usually the
But
fourth.
she announces it in our public meetings, and I bet you,
It's usually the fourth Thursday.
I've had 4.5 years I've had meetings there, and not one person from the public has ever showed up. But, we do have it's a great mix of people on that board, and we had some very good discussions, and it was wholeheartedly supported to bring it towards the commissioners, because we're the ones that have the authority on whether or not to pass this. So I forgot to mention the board. Thank
Okay.
you.
Is there anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 16, receive and journalize and expedite one annexation of 2.3771 acres from Pittsfield Township to the City of Oberlin. Agent Mark Correll, Esquire, for petitioning DC Acquisition Company, LLC, by Daniel M. Coles. And a decision will be on the January 12th, 2026 agenda.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion.
Yes. So nobody has signed up, but is there anybody here to speak to the annexation? Usually there is.
No,
But-
this is just to receive and file it.
Correct.
Okay.
But they may wanted to state their case. Okay. Just wanted to make sure because they don't usually know about our process.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
17, enter in a stop-loss contract with Medical Mutual of Ohio effective January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 26.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
18, adjust salary of Valerian Municipal Court Clerk of Court Eric Bruning, which reflects the county's 2/5 share at a biweekly rate of $2,010 effective January 1st of 25. He is appointed to replace interim clerk Omer E. Cunningham and the vacancy created by retiring clerk Eric Rothgary.
So moved?
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye. Is that correct, the way you got it? He
What?
says, I thought Bruning was replacing Rothgary. No?
No, the vacancy was created by Rothgary,
Right.
and then we appointed 2 weeks ago Omer,
Yeah?
and then now they appointed Eric in
Okay.
that
Yeah.
place.
Okay. I was
So,
wondering-
yeah.
He was the interim.
Right, okay.
Yeah. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Okay.
Okay.
Number 19, approve the 26 special revenue annual appropriation.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Now, you want to explain this, what this means, Casey? People are more interested in item number 20, but I thought, let's talk about 19.
Yep, sure. So these are the what we always refer to as the special revenue funds. So these are funds that have their own distinct and limited revenue resources, whether they be levy funds, grant funds, so forth, so on. These are all the budgets and funds outside of the general fund. Again, that are purely funded by those special resources.
But those are pretty much the same as how we're trying to get as close as we can to a guesstimation, correct? Or
Yeah, these guys all have, all these budgets that all have, again, as I mentioned, their own revenue sources. They have their own cash balances, so this is an area where they have to be, essentially have to be balanced. They can't spend more than they bring in. They're, again, self-contained, self-sustained.
For the benefit of everybody that you two just confused, you know, when we go through the items during the regular meeting you've seen all year, we have the general fund expenditures, you know, bills to pay, and then we have special revenue bills. Well, that's a minor piece of the pie. The idea is that there's a general revenue that's provided by tax dollars and so forth, and there are special revenue funds that are provided in a different form. So they have a separate budget because they have a very confined revenue stream and a very refined mission. So item 19 needs to be approved because it is business of the county. But the next item is the one that's the general fund, which is the accumulation of dollars that come from various streams that we get to decide as collectively as electeds where the dollars go. They make that better?
I think budgets confuse everybody, so.
Go ahead.
Is there anything further on number 19? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 20, approve the 26 general fund annual appropriation.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yep, we're gonna have a couple discussions now. They're gonna put
Do we have a
something up on
post?
the screen, but before, I'm just gonna let everybody know that's in the room. I appreciate everybody showing up. You're all gonna go blind looking at this, so I had my trusty assistant, Amy, copy what you guys see up on the television screen right now. You can get a copy from Amy. That way you guys don't have to try to figure out and read that screen, if that's okay with you. So if you want a copy of what this budget's gonna look like, then Amy does have that. And Amy, if you do me a favor, when you're done, I kind of ran out of water, so I appreciate some help.
I don't even have that. She's got it.
No, you got it. Casey's, it's up there right now.
No,
What? Oh,
I want a copy.
okay, so, sorry, I just want to at least,
I can't see anything.
it's hard to read
I'll get
it.
it. I'll get one. Well, can you have a hard copy?
But you want,
Yeah, 'cause I can't read
you don't have a hard copy, or you can't read yours?
I can't read their monitor.
Okay.
She's getting me one.
I'll take one.
Yeah, get
Two of them.
Get a couple up here, I guess. Marty's assistant's off, so he's taking advantage of mine, so.
Mine's in Nowaka.
Yeah, he's off.
Mine's sick.
Okay.
If you can pass them down, she'd like
Lee
to
wants
go,
one?
yeah.
I'll take one. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Go ahead. Go ahead, sir.
She wants to see if she's still working on Monday.
You're not kidding.
You're fine.
Okay. The numbers don't mean a lot without the story, so we're going to endeavor to give that to you in a, hopefully, in a clarifying way. But Casey and the auditor give us estimated revenue expenditures, or revenue receipts that we expect to get next year, recognizing trends and so forth. And that becomes the bogey for us to spend. If we stay spending under that level, we can add some money to the carryover for a rainy day. If we overspend that, we're taking money out of the rainy day fund and using it for today. And then, obviously you don't have it when the rainy day comes. So we try to stay within that bogey, and you'll see that is that's column number D on the spreadsheet that's in front of you. And so at this point, Casey with the special revenue funds that come to the general fund, and the auditor with the general tax funds, that number is a little over $86 million. Now, that compares very favorably to the budget that we had last year, where the budget for '25 was about $86 million. And the request that we made of everybody when we passed the budget for '25 was that spend '25 getting ready for '26 because we expect '26 to be very close to '25. We weren't looking to see a large windfall of real estate taxes again. We weren't looking for a lot of reoccurring things. And it was unsure how much the tariffs and the auto industry and so forth were going to affect Lorain County because that's a big issue for us. Buying automobiles and paying sales tax on automobiles is a big revenue stream for Lorain County. So we start with that 86 million, and there's a lot of other numbers in between. But to focus on what we're doing today, we expect to receive about $86 million, and that's the first piece of the story today. The second piece is that we're proposing a 4.25% increase to the 86 million. We believe that there's enough good news out there today that we think we could count on getting close to 4.25% based on history. And so because we were $11 to $13 million over asked for the 86 million that we had, the original estimate was 97 million, and there were some things there that still weren't in the budget. And so to get the 97 down to 86, we got to the 86 and we bumped back up to the 4.25%. So we believe that the number, we're going to pass a number that is
89,914.
89,914, or just under 90,000. And that is a 4.25% increase that we anticipate. Yeah, you want to put that on the screen?
Yeah, I'd like to give this to,
Let's put this on the screen.
yeah. Hey, Victor, could you change out to, there we go. Because what Jeff is talking about is we took a history going back to 2012. Is that okay if I talk for, okay, let me go.
Yes.
In 2012, the estimate that the revenue, and it's not just the auditor's office, but it's all the special revenue funds. In the budget that they passed in 2012, the actual collection was 46, a 13% difference, which means they collected more money. And if you take a look, I'm not going to read all of them, but the average has been 13 to 27% more than what was reported. Predicted. So we decided, instead of taking the average, and I've done this before for the last 3-4 years, you'll hear me talk about this if you care to watch the budget part of this. Usually it's just the county employees. But anyway, we decided not to be that aggressive because it looks like everybody kind of saw what we've been doing the last couple of years. And I think the 86 to 89 million is probably where we're going to be at. You know, it's very difficult to look into a crystal ball, but if you look at history, are we going to get 10%, 13%, which is the average? Hope so. But I based on last year, we think it's going to be kind of flat. Sales, everything's indicating that, but we don't know, and we won't know till probably June. And so what I wanted to at least show the public is we came up with about 86,248,000 is what we think. That's what the revenue is basically they're expecting from everybody that has all these special revenue accounts in the general fund account. So we thought, instead of being at 10% or even 8%, we decided to be conservative and go assume that, okay, the 86.2 is what we think, and based on what everyone's reporting, we're just going to play it safe at 4.25%. And the number which we're going to use to pass our budget today is 89,914,486, which is still a lot less than what everybody wants. There. Okay, they can take that down now.
So I can take that down, put the other one back up for the
Well,
moment.
do you want to, okay,
For the moment,
okay.
for those that want to digest that. And then we'll have a third chart showing the kind of a summary of just the reductions in the various budgets. Casey, did you get that to Victor?
I believe so.
Okay. No, that's
Oh,
the,
no, well, it's, Victor, it's called Budget Cuts, I think, is the document that's in there.
did you give him that one where we put them all on one sheet?
Yeah, it's called Budget Cuts. We'll see if he,
Victor, it's called budget cuts. If you
No,
Nope, that's not it.
that's the special revenue accounts.
under general fund.
it was added pretty late, so he might not
He might
have
not
seen
have
it.
The last thing you got,
Casey, you might have to go back because there was a bunch I looked at and he had general fund
But,
and
well, wait,
special, but I
we got
didn't
it
see
right here.
that
We
one
can
that
just,
you're talking about.
don't we have one here?
It's on
Actually.
2 sheets.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Like I said, I added it about, because we talked about 5-10 minutes, so he, like I said, he might not have been able to prepare it yet for that, so just see if has it.
So at any rate, at that point, as I was misunderstood earlier this year, I said some things are going to, this is going to necessitate some cuts that are going to hurt. They're going to change life. And I wasn't referring to layoffs or employees necessarily as I was to, there are some things that we as citizens expect out of our government that they're not required or mandated by law to do, but we request that they do them and we enjoy those. And this year's budget will come very close to only being able to fund those things that are mandated and required by law. And not crying sour grapes, but we tried to restore the budget to the sales tax that had been here before, that had been cut. So we're essentially, except for inflation, we're dealing with the 1986, or
No,
excuse me,
1920, or
2016 budget.
2020, really. That was the last year.
2020?
Yeah, that was the last
Okay.
year.
So the chart that you're seeing now is a summary chart of the cuts that were made. Okay, to the
To the totals of everybody.
to the totals. Now, these were after or prior to the voluntary cuts?
Could it,
After the voluntary
I'll
cut.
clarify that. No, so this document here,
There's been a lot of paper flying around for the last 2 weeks, so
I'm
you have
going
to.
cross-eyed from all this stuff.
Yeah, you'll have to
Spreadsheets.
excuse
Well,
me for a
even,
little
even
bit.
yesterday was ugly, so.
Yeah, these are the numbers, cuts from the original budgets that were received from everybody for that tax budget.
In July.
Right. That budget, that initial budget that was $97 million, these are the cuts from all the different offices.
Getting down to the 90 million.
Correct.
Okay. So in the context, there was 86, we raised it to 89. There was 97 that was requested. These are the cuts to get the 97 back to the 90, and a total of about $7,700,000. So as you'll see at the top, because, we seem to be in the crosshairs for some folks who want to know what the commissioners are giving up. We gave up just under $2 million, and we had to put some things back in that are mandated by law. And out of that number, what we really took out was capital expenditures. We had reduced it 1 year from $2 million to $1 million in order to make the budget work. We lowered it again this year, and it's 200 and some thousand. And to that philosophy, yes, those are not required, but when we came into office 3 years ago, we were dealt with a backlog of capital expenditures that hadn't been performed. We had been baling wire and chewing gum, everything together for the buildings. And these buildings are owned by the taxpayers, and just like your home, you have to take care of them. So capital expenditures is not building new buildings or buying new vehicles. It's trying to take care of the changing environment that we work in, and trying to keep up with all the equipment so that we make prudent changes instead of very expensive changes later. And to that end, the capital expenditures for 2025 is where we appropriated some weeks ago for a space study individual, a firm to come in and help us with evaluating our space, because we appear, through automation and so forth, we appear to have some excess space, and so we'll be looking to consolidating that space and consolidating those offices and staff, and trying to sell off excess space, excess buildings, and get rid of the maintenance and operating costs that go with those buildings. So taking it down to $200,000 is about as prudent as we could go. Zero would return us back to the old days of not taking care of the buildings, and we all know how that ends. It's either pay me now or pay me later. So answering those questions concerning what are the commissioners doing for this, and then as you look down, you'll see what each of the other offices and departments and electeds have contributed at this juncture. And this is, while this is our budget for 2026, this is a living document, and we will take opportunities throughout the year if revenues increase to restore some things, and if benefits, if revenues decrease, we will have to go back and make further cuts. But we think this is a prudent, this is the world as our crystal ball sees it. I think some of my fellow commissioners may have a couple of comments on some of the other items in this chart, but here's where the story is. The other one that we gave you with the 19 lines, that's the data. This chart is the story.
Hey, Victor, can you take that off? I think people have seen that enough.
Okay?
Okay, I would like to thank everybody when we were doing our budget work sessions. Everybody came in. We all had very good talks. For example, when I was talking to the recorder last night, I had to warn him that we were cutting his budget. And I said, I see you have other revenue accounts, and he said, I'll step up. I can help offset the costs. And for those of you in the audience that has this document, or those at home that printed it up, all 23 of you watching, that you'll see a line item in there with IT communications. And what we're doing is, as you heard what we talked about earlier, that the state of Ohio is saying you are not allowed to settle, you're not allowed to pay hackers. That's a law this year. And we were right in the middle of this when this all happened. Our insurance company, without them, we would have been hurting. So that is why some of these elected officials do have separate revenue streams. The prosecutor's office is currently still working with them, trying to see the fact that this board is trying to provide protection for this whole county, and some of the elected officials are not helping out with some of these other revenue streams. Now, if the law says we can't use that money to help for computers, because to me, it sounds like it's protecting real estate, it sounds like it's protecting, a lot of realtors were very upset when they couldn't look up values and anything else at the auditor's office. That breach did cause a lot of stress on day-to-day activity. This county, the insurance actually paid for LifeLock because of the breach. There's a reason why I am asking, if you saw our meetings, I was asking every elected official here, what can you do to help mitigate the costs that this board is incurring to protect everybody in the county from a breach? So if you see some of these red, and there's a lot of red here, that is what we're going to do to negotiate. If you don't want to participate in it, then that's on you. The problem, not the problem, but the fact is other elected officials have the ability to run their offices as they see fit. Fine. But guess what? We have a problem because a lot of these things that are going on are mandated, and we have to pay for it. And some of these things are not mandated. And since we don't have control over who hires who, except for the Board of Commissioners, I've said it before, a lot of these expenses are incurred because of employees. There's other ways that we can do this, and if they're not going to be creative enough to help mitigate the cost to protect the county, which protects the taxpayers, then we're going to have to come up with other ways to either create revenue, or they're going to have to come up with ways to help us mitigate those costs, or they're just going to have to cut. This is not something we just did on a whim. This is something that took probably a month to get to this number. And again, it was $11 million at one time. It's down because of everybody sharpened their pencil. You saw those meetings with everybody. Everybody was coming in with sharpened pencils. 88%, I'd say, probably did. But not everybody.
On that item of the cybersecurity, it also has a second dimension into what we're doing and the cuts that Commissioner Moore is talking about, and that is that one of the preliminary charges that we were given, as public officials when we get here, and the people have been crying for on a perpetual basis, they spoke again when they reduced the sales tax, or when they didn't return the sales tax, and that is the duplication of services. This board is paying good money to get world-class cybersecurity protection. We're paying good money to get talented staff. We are not going to fund another elected official's budget to hire a separate staff, to hire a separate vendor who likely will not only will it be disconnected from us, but will not be as competent as what we're doing. So the only vote we get, we can't mandate it, but the state legislature has made us responsible for it, and the only way that we can do that is we are not going to fund a world-class system and a world-class staff and fund somebody else's pet project. We can't do it. We don't have that money this year.
And I know we've all kind of, we're out talking to everybody in regards to this. I know Marty went and, because the Veteran Services, really, they by statute have the ability to take a heck of a lot more than what they're getting, right? I mean,
Yeah,
I'll let you share.
Jacob and I sat down and discussed it, and he went back, and, we went back and forth a couple times, and he's been generous in the past. He's been very efficient with how he spends money. He understands the cuts, and, he's on board with the cut that we have listed here. I appreciate it. I'm a big supporter of Veterans Services, and the one thing that was really one that we didn't want to touch was the Veterans Honor Fund, because that keeps the veterans, BFWs and American Legions, that keeps them supported in ways that they wouldn't normally have money to operate. So we don't want to lose that. That's a critical piece of the Veterans Services. So I thank Jacob wholeheartedly for working with me.
Well, not only that, you got Tom Orlando, who usually donates back, and I always have the debate on the word donate. He doesn't spend all that money, and I asked him during the budget meetings, I said, we can't wait till December for you to refund that money back. We need to know how quickly can you help us out. I mean, it could be some of these other counties spend every dime so they can hire other friends. Tom Orlando's done an excellent job at not doing that, running an efficient organization. And so he is, and what's in this number here in the 86 is the $1 million that he gives back in June, right? I think, Casey, we got that in there, right? Yeah. I mean, we're counting that as, because we don't even have the money today. We have to wait till property taxes come in February or March, right? And that's when people start doing their appropriations. And,
Yeah, historically, he'd been able to give back $750,000. This year, he gave 1.1. During that meeting we had with him, he felt very confident. He couldn't give with 100% certainty, but he felt very confident that he could give at least 1.1 million back again next year, and that is included in the $86 million.
And he was the one that when Commissioner Waddell was with the over at the courthouse, that within 11 minutes, Todd, because of the system we got, found that they were trying to breach him, and so he's a true believer. And I think that's why the way we're all working together right now. I think
He also had started. He had positions falling off in his office, and he didn't replace that staff when he very well could have.
Right.
He's been fiscally responsible with the taxpayer money. I think he's doing a great job.
well, and we appreciate that because that's the kind of work we're looking for, help we're looking for from everybody. I know talking with the prosecutor, I know he shaved off quite a bit. The problem is if you take a look. The prosecutor actually started out with about $750,000 less than he was supposed to get. But that's what happens when you go from one administration to another. I had to talk to him last night and say, you're going to be short about 100,000, 160. So I says, again, let's wait, give us 6 months. We have to pass this. This is, as I said, a living document that we can continually revisit, maybe monthly or quarterly, to see where the revenue streams are coming, to see how the expenses are going. And again, I've talked about before, it could get even uglier if if property taxes change, but I'm not going to go there today. We're going to talk about 26. So,
Right. Couple of other items, a little bit to the veterans. They are mandated to get a certain amount of money from the commissioners in every county. And they don't take all that money as usual, but they do take more just because to give themselves some flexibility, and then they return it at the end of the year if they don't use it. The concession that Commissioner Gallagher is talking about with Jacob and his board is that they've agreed to tighten themselves up, knowing full well that if they run into a problem, they do services for veterans. If there's a calamity of sorts and they need additional money, they will have to come back to us and we will have to grant that money. But what you see here is a good faith effort to say, okay, let's all play the game by the same rules. Let's don't take anything that we don't know that we need today. Likewise with the Board of Elections, as we all know, next year's the governor's race, and for those who've been following, governor and all the other state offices are term limited out. It's expected to be an active year. The Board of Elections is also mandated that whatever it takes to put on the election for us to vote and exercise our freedoms, we have to pay that bill. So we have a budget that's been based on a tight guess, but a competent guess. But if it misses by a couple $100,000 or whatever, they will have the right to return to this board, and we will have the obligation to fund that and find the money elsewhere. So there's still work ahead of us in 2026, but everybody has participated in this process, and I think that I represents a better than a 50-50 chance that at the end of 26 we'll end up here. Any comments to the budget?
Well, I'm sure we'll hear a lot of comments probably tomorrow, so.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Number 21, establish a Public Defender Commission Board in Lorain County, Ohio, in accordance with Ohio Revised Code 120.13. And Commissioners will appoint 3 members, and Common Police Court will appoint 2 members in January 26.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, I've spoke to this before in regards to the Public Defender's Office. What we're doing is I gathered as much data as I could in regards to the expenses of this. We're one of the highest. The CCAO said Lorain County, they've been trying to get us to do something like this because $4.8 million was last year is what was funded, and we got to come up with like $800,000 out of the general fund. I went and talked to one of the judges over there that wasn't really sold on the idea. I told him the concept isn't to do it countywide. The concept is to start out small, maybe a municipality, and start there to build it, to prove to everybody that it works, or maybe it won't work. But the bottom line is the board has to appoint a board, and they got to come back to us and prove to us financially that it makes sense. So we're not going to sit here and build it. We're going to pick 5 citizens. I think 1 or 2 has to be lawyers right now. I think there's looking at probably 3 or 4. But anyway, I know I've already talked to Judge Cook, who is the one that'll be appointing the 2 members from the courts. And I think we've already reached out to a few people, and we'll make the decisions on the appointments for that 5-member board on our organizational meeting on January 12th. In the meantime, my assistant Amy is copying the history, the expenses, and the individuals who are receiving the compensation for this indigent fee issue. So we don't know. I'm hearing different things from Columbus. They might change a few things, maybe increase funding that will help mitigate this. There's a lot of unknowns. I see us, this is just one way. We have 5 volunteers. They're going to dig into this for us and come back with us with a report. So there's no need to debate the pros and cons of this. We need to have a 5-member board, get that information, bring back the real data, then we'll have that debate. Because let's face it, if that board comes back and says, hey, this is your salaries, this is your expenses, this is the number of cases per job, I mean, we're going to have to go through, there's a lot more work that has to be done. But it starts right here with appointing a board. Let those members come back to us, give us updates. They may come back and say, it doesn't make any sense, and we're going to have to live with that. But right now, we don't know, and we're better off having the 5-member board. We'll start the ball rolling. Let them come back to us with that information, so. What, you volunteering? See you, Joe.
Is there anything further on 21?
I'd just like to say that this takes the political end out of it to make sure that this is the right path to go down, or not the right path to go down. So it makes very good sense to me to go this route.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
22, Lorain County Board of Commissioners retaining the law firm of Miller Canfield relating to the court order by Lorain County Domestic Relations Court and Juvenile.
With the presiding judge for domestic relations to look at these expenditures and look for either whether they're appropriate, and if so, how do we get them funded? But again, this just happens to be on the agenda. The other ones don't have the ability to court order their budget, but we received a court order from domestic relations, and we have to follow it. So in order for us to make any change to that budget, we need to make sure the ground that we're on and negotiate that with the court. And that's what this does today, is it gets us somebody that's as smart as the two gals that just walked up to the podium. So Emily, you want to speak to this?
Yes. Good morning, Commissioners. My name's
morning.
Emily Kirsch. I'm the court administrator for the Domestic Relations and Juvenile Court, and we are speaking here on behalf of the administrative judge, Judge Janik, as well as Judge Swensky and Judge Glass. I'm going to have our fiscal director, Kristen Richardson, speak as she handles all things budget.
Thank you, Commissioners. We were really surprised to see this on the agenda item. We discovered this yesterday when it was emailed out to all of the departments. It was very surprising because we haven't received any correspondence from the commissioners related to our budget request since our budget meeting last month. At that meeting, the judges agreed to freeze the budget in order to preserve general fund dollars, to which all 3 commissioners were very happy with that budget amount. Yesterday, we sought information about this matter, and it was communicated to one of the judges that the intent of the commissioners is to hire this outside legal firm to go over all non-mandated services for all departments funded with general fund dollars, and not just domestic relations court and juvenile court as it's listed on the agenda item today. What we would ask is that if it is specific to our juvenile court and domestic relations court budget, that we meet the elected judges, as you as well, to discuss the matter instead of spending more general fund dollars on outside legal counsel, so that we can have discussions about what the issues are and what changes could be made to that.
Yes. For the record, we are investigating the total group of mandated versus non-mandated. As I said in my earlier remarks, this one is specific because only the Domestic Relations Court gave us a court order. And we're well aware of the definition of contempt of court. So-
Understood. I
So
think what I'm saying
we're trying
is-
to give it the respect that it deserves and so forth, but as we've indicated since July, that if the sales tax didn't pass, there were going to be some things that are going to have to get cut that are very productive, and they're desirous for our quality of life. However, they're not mandated by law. Okay?
Understood. We're just asking for maybe a
Yes,
meeting.
and
so
as
that we
far
can
as the
discuss.
timing, I will tell you that due to the way that government staffs itself, due to this whole process, we were working to get revenue buttoned down as recently as 2 weeks ago. We wanted to get the figures for the third quarter, and then we got greedy and we decided that we wanted to wait for the figures till the end of November. so that we could, because at one point, 86 million was the number, not 90 million, okay? And we had, up until 2 weeks ago, we had a number from Casey and the auditor that was at 82 million that we could expect to reserve. So at that point, with 82 million, we were looking at $15 million of shortfall. So we've been honing this down piece by piece, and we tried very hard, realizing the ability of the courts. The courts were one of the last things we had to touch in order to achieve our goal. And so there was no disrespect intended to the courts. It's simply that you had already mandated by court order, and that was the last thing we touched, and we reached out to Judge Janik yesterday. Thank you for facilitating that. I tried to do it since Tuesday. We couldn't get it done, but wanted to make sure that everybody understood that, this is one of those things. We want to find a way to do this, but we need to know what ground we're on, so because we get that debate, and if we decide that we want to restore the money to the domestic relations court, okay, it may have to come from somewhere else. And now we're going to end up with a bar brawl between departments on whose department is more important than whose and so forth. And we're trying to maintain the spirit that the commissioner talked about, which was everybody collectively got this done. So we apologize for any angst that we gave you, but this was a very active process. Probably the first time all year that I've seen all three commissioners in the building for the last 2 weeks.
And Commissioner, what we just saw with the cut from the budget, the 1.2, I believe it was, for domestic relations, obviously we do have that court order.
Yeah,
For
the
judges,
284,000, you already, that was your voluntary cut from.
About 300 of it
From
was.
July.
Yeah.
Okay,
From July to now, and it was not included in your court order. So
Okay.
we appreciate that intent.
okay.
right.
But for the rest of the court order, it's not in the budget, so just because we have to report back to our judges, is it the intent that those line items are not going to be funded?
There's one major line item,
Yeah.
and again, I don't want to spark a debate over
Okay, yeah.
whose services are more important to the people than anybody else.
Yeah.
But there's one line item that represents just under $1 million. And we're looking for the solution to that dilemma.
Okay. And we can, and again, we would like to work with the commissioners on finding a
Yeah.
solution.
And not-
You're going to
Yeah,
need to work
yeah,
with us
yeah.
because we're going to need to understand, you know.
Yeah, and
Okay.
you know what, you guys are great, and
Yeah.
I thought our work session was great, and how you came up to us just now and says, hey, look, I wish you would have talked to us. Okay, that's not how we took a judge telling us we're going to take your money no matter what you say. That's how we take it. When a judge orders their budget, that's what they're telling the taxpayers is like, yeah, we went through this process, but we're taking stuff mandated and unmandated. And I know Commissioner Riddell was over there with a judges meeting with all 9 of them, and when Judge Cook said, I did not know the courts were ordering their budgets, which we take offense to. Okay, I'm telling you, I take offense to it personally because 25 years ago, the judges would never do that because they didn't want to be in the paper saying we're just taking the money. But something happened between like 2008 and 2015. You would probably know, they started ordering their budgets instead of, you would know, Karen, maybe. I don't know when they did it. But they started, she's playing
I can
safe.
speak to
So I'm just
that,
letting you know
Commissioner.
personally how I'm letting you know personally how I feel. That's how I take it. So then the next thing you know, when a judge orders, we can't come over there and say, okay, well, what do you guys feel? No, we have to then lawyer up and say, what are our rights? What are the taxpayers' rights? And what's mandated? Does Children's Services, can they take over that? They got lots of money. Can they help offset that $950 million?
Absolutely.
Or $950,000?
Yes.
That's a discussion we would have liked to have had, not hire a
We're
lawyer.
more than willing to have that conversation.
Yeah, but it's too late
with
because you already filed that, and now we got to act,
Yes.
So likewise, we could have,
Yeah.
you say, wish we'd have known ahead of time.
Yeah.
You did
Well,
at the budget meeting.
Yeah.
Right.
At the budget meeting, we
You know,
stated we were
if
going
we'd
to
have
go
known
with the
it was
2025
coming,
amount.
we could have had a conversation and say, well, here's our dilemma.
Yeah. How can
Before
we-
you
yeah.
ordered it.
Yeah, how
But-
can we work it out?
But-
I think
I think
because at
there's
the
lesson
budget
learned.
meeting, we did not get the impression that it was going to be cut further because we stated we would go with the 2025 budget amount.
Yeah.
And
That-
all three commissioners were in agreement,
Oh,
and we're
yeah.
happy
Right.
with that.
But
So-
we didn't have
so
the
you were
impression
aware
that we
of
were going to be
budget.
court-ordered. When we
Well,
left the meeting, we
and-
said we still have work to go, and we didn't expect to get the court order either.
And you remember, the money that we thought were coming in was a lot less than what we actually got. The ask was 11 million more than we thought we were getting. Now, we thought, how are we going to cut 11 million? Well, now we're at this point, okay, how are we going to cut 7? And so that's getting better. And then, as you heard me earlier talking, can you guys, does other elected officials have revenue streams that can help offset the computer expenses? Can we build that down? Because right now, as Commissioner Riddell said, let's say let's do worst case scenario. We go to court, you guys win, you get unmandated funded. What do? Okay, well, we got to go back to these people that got the reds and take that 950,000. And that's why when I say it's a living document, doesn't mean you're going to get more money. And it doesn't mean you're not going to lose more money, but either one can happen. So if we end up, and I get along great with you guys. I think you guys are, I think we're all getting along great. But that's how I took that.
Okay.
And then next thing you know, we're like, oh, great. We don't want to go to war with these guys. We don't want to get lawyered up, but we have to because of that court order. We only have a limited time to respond. And that's why we're here today. So it's not,
We do not expect this to litigate.
no, we don't want to.
But we need to get smart enough to be able to negotiate with you folks reasonably.
Yeah.
Understood.
Okay?
Is there another way to fund?
And recognize, as we said in the budget hearing that we had, yours is one of the fastest accelerating budgets in the county. And maybe for all the right reasons, but it doesn't change the fact that when inflation's running at a certain rate, your budget for 4 or 5 years has been increasing faster than the rate of inflation. So as we look at it, as we indicated back when I sent the letter out in October to all the electeds, those with the largest budget are going to have the largest amount of introspection because we can't balance an $11 million shortfall by eliminating a $200,000 department. The math just doesn't work, as you can see. So, but you folks have a $14 million budget. You are a very significant chunk of the $86 million budget. And so we have to give you a little extra level of introspection along the way.
And as a newly to this process, I looked at it when I got the order. It's like all negotiations are off. We're moving forward. It did look like there was no communication needed at that point, and it was a court order. So and that's the way I looked at it. And I apologize if there's a different process to it, but as a new person, I'm learning how it works in the budget process. So I don't say that much right now, but I'm paying attention to the way it runs.
And I will say that I don't know for how many years, I've been the court administrator for the last 4 years. We order our budget, the general division orders their budget.
They did not.
My understanding is that they are going to. We typically coordinate with them on filing the budget and sending it over. My understanding is they were going to. If
Wow.
that's changed from,
I just want to make sure that everything that's out here on TV
Yeah,
today is
absolutely,
accurate.
yeah.
But again, they did not, and so therefore, otherwise, their
Yeah.
name would be in this resolution with
got
yours.
it. Yeah. Well, and I typically we order the budget just as a matter of course.
Yeah, but that's
I think one of the reasons,
not
though,
like,
that
hey,
it's-
Dad, I'd like my allowance.
One of the reasons that the court order started taking place, I think back in 2008, like
Is that when they
Commissioner
did
Moore
it?
was
Okay.
speaking of, is when they started taking the budget and only divvying it out and allocating it in quarters, and it did create issues because we have 2 residential facilities. It did become taxing to sort of figure out making payroll. The court order was, hey, please just fund us up front so that way we don't have to worry about moving funds around each quarter. That's sort of where it started.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That
it
makes
totally
sense.
makes sense.
But don't punish us for sins of the past.
I understand.
We have enough
Understand.
trouble dealing with our own sins, okay?
Thank you.
And
And I
by the
hope
way,
that we
I had a
can-
very good conversation with the judge that you facilitated yesterday. We got the guardrails around the issue and actually a couple of tentative ideas on how to move forward. And so that's what we were trying to get done before today's meeting so that you wouldn't have sticker shock.
We'd love to
Yes.
talk to you.
Thank you.
Same here.
Thank you, Emily.
Thanks.
Kristen.
Is there anything further?
No?
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
911, number 23, enter in a 3-year contract with Improvita, Inc., Waltman, Massachusetts, to provide MFA solutions in the amount of $37,358.20. This will streamline the sign-in and MFA process for the 911 dispatchers and paid from the 911 contractual services account.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
24, enter in contract with the AT&T for Lorain County 911 agency in the amount of $4,485,857.10 to provide advanced next generation 911 PSAP communication solutions to upgrade the Motorola Vesta calling system to include enhanced call handling, mapping, and maintenance support services to Lorain County 911 and its agencies. This is effective January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 2030, and the annual payment of $897,171.42 will be paid from the contractual services account.
So moved?
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion. And Kurt is on deck already.
Is at the podium ready to go.
Just make sure the microphone picks you up.
So good morning, Commissioners. Beginning of the year, former Director Berner and I started investigating a new call handling system that would take us into the cloud. That way we can be off-prem, we could go anywhere if we need to. If we have to evacuate our building and can't make it to our backup center, we still have a way of dispatching, just as we can with our CAD system. Doing this moves forward with the state of Ohio going into next gen and EZNet system, which we're slated to move into in the third quarter of next year. And by the time this would be built, I think it would be perfect timing that we move into it, so we wouldn't have any downtime. We did have 3 companies that submitted quotes that we looked into. And all 3 of them were what we were looking for and beyond for what we wanted. With one of them that we chose was through AT&T maintenance that we use currently, would be the Motorola Vesta Next system. And with that being in the cloud, it offers us transcription and translation, which currently with our translation system, we have to call a company with our caller on the line, and we have to wait for several minutes before we get a translator, which costs seconds at times. With this, if we have a Spanish-speaking caller, it's automatically on our screen. It picks it up and puts it on our screen in English. And as we talk back to them in English, it translates it back to them in their language. So we're saving seconds on getting services going. Also with this, we could go into receiving pictures and videos from our callers. We would send them a link through a text message. Once they click on it, it opens up, and we can have real-time video or pictures that they want to send us or recordings. And we can relay that to responding agencies if we need to. With all this, with AT&T being our maintenance contract currently, this would cut that contract and put it into a new one, cost saving between the 2 services. And that would give them, instead of us hosting on property, it would be hosted through AT&T, through their services, which would give us faster service for maintenance if we needed something done, plus any upgrades would be done faster. So I do have today with me Motorola Solutions representatives Lisa Flask and AJ Mason, and our AT&T representative Mark Rolfe. If you guys have any questions for him.
Morning, Commissioners.
Good morning.
Mason
Good morning.
with Motorola.
Lisa Flass.
Mark Rowe, AT&T, good morning.
Grab the mic.
Mark Rowe, AT&T, good morning.
Yes.
Real quick, if I may start, there was a topic of conversation today that came up quite a bit, was the cybersecurity perspective of where you guys are at today. Just to give you a little background into our solution that we're providing, it is called a zero trust network. where it fits and coincides with the cybersecurity solutions that you're putting in place today. We will have that a part of this whole overall solution. Another part of this too is that the network that we're discussing that we'll be providing is a closed network. So there's no public internet associated to it. So it allows us for that zero trust to be incorporated into it. So, a lot of this aligns to, what you're going through from a cybersecurity perspective. And what Kurt alluded to was that there's hardware that's on your prem base today. We're going to be moving that into a secure data center so that we can maintain it, monitor it. If we have to do any maintenance to it, it's there. So it's really where the industry is going as a whole. And as Kurt mentioned also, with the EZInet platform, it's the new network that's coming into play. There's a lot of enhancements that come along with that. Commissioner Moore mentioned some GIS information. The calls will, at that time, be routed via GIS, which takes the longitude and latitude, and it gives you the building elevations. So there's a lot of features and functionalities that comes along with this solution. And over the last year and a half, we were able to work with the county on your current VESDA platform, and we were happy with the results that we came in to do for the team. And we look forward to working with you in the future.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Unless you have questions.
No.
Hey, Casey, how's this being paid out of? Is this out of the 911 contract? Okay.
Such great enhancements. It's I can't just even think of how much it's going to speed up the service of 911. When you got GIS, you got translation. That's a big one there. The video uploads. Are you able to do live, like if there's a crime happening, somebody videoing it, and you guys will get that recorded?
Yes, with the ability of that individual that we send that link to, we will be able to have that real-time displayed to the dispatch team and also to the first responders. Also, in our industry, dispatchers are there's a, how do I say this? There's a gap there because a lot of dispatchers will leave to another location, or they just not comfortable with what they're doing. So from a video perspective, we're able to blur that video out if that dispatcher does not want to be witnessing that crime, but on the records we'll show it as the real-time video. So there's a lot of enhancements, obviously.
I mean, I'm sure they can help with people administering CPR and
Yes.
first aid and all that.
Yep.
Unbelievable. It's a great advancement for safety.
Very good.
And also, great job getting multiple bids.
No, you can't. Well, I think is this part of the when Biden was it before when he was leaving office? The AT&T and Motorola got the contract on a national basis for the next gen. Is that what this is tied to? Where I was texting Karen trying to figure out, is this part of that PSAPs? How only PSAPs can have the next gen, or no?
No,
Yeah, yeah.
that's not what we're associated with. The actual EZInet platform
Yeah.
is with a competitor of ours, Comtech,
Okay.
that we work with. But, I live in the state, I support multiple states, and we're one of the last to incorporate this. And so when I go to conferences, they're like, where are you going to come with Ohio? So I'm just happy that we have it, even though
Okay.
it's not with AT&T, to be candid.
Okay.
So I think that was more on the FirstNet side of the house.
Okay.
From a wireless perspective is where we got the contract for that, and we'll use that as a sort of a tertiary backup from the FirstNet side of the house.
Okay.
Thank you. And Kurt, I hope you'll keep us, make a note on the calendar to give us when it's time for next gen to come, and you've laid the landscape out and we're ready to go. We need to let the citizens know, the new level of service and protection that they're getting.
I appreciate you guys coming in today.
Yes,
and
Thank you for coming
I
in.
hope we didn't bore you with our meetings.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Job and Family Services authorized sub-grant agreement between JFS and Neighborhood Alliance Lorain in the amount of $96,934.72 for the Family Promise Affiliate Program in Lorain County. This is effective January 1st of 26 through December 31st of 26, and will be paid from the TANF account.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion.
Yes, I see they're here today. Do you guys have anything you want to add, or neighborhood? Wake them up. Are you guys good? Anyone want to talk or no? Everyone good?
Good.
Okay.
Well,
You're
I
good?
do know you
Okay.
guys have been watching your budget too. I've been seeing it out there
Oh, they're my
with some of the
favorite.
programs, just so you know. And I appreciate you looking out for taxpayer money.
Yeah, they do an excellent job, so.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Number 26, authorize various personnel in JFS to utilize their various credit card privileges in the amount not to exceed $4,000 for the year 26 in accordance with the policy in Ohio Race Code.
Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Sanitary engineer 27, entering a design service agreement with Shook Construction Brecksville for the Western Lorain County Water Resource Recovery Facility. Shook Construction is cooperation Kimley Horn and Associates, Inc. will provide early work services on the planned Lorain County Water Resource Reclamation Facility as outlined in Exhibit A of the Design Services Agreement in the amount not to exceed $969,119, which will be paid from the Sanitary Engineer Professional Services account.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Discussion. Karen, you're going to have to take over for the absent armbruster, and I see that you have a couple of folks to join us.
Absolutely. So, let's see. Good morning, Commissioners. I've been here so long, I wasn't sure.
Good afternoon.
That's enough of that.
So, just so that, I want to inform the public and the board, of course, we put out a request for qualification statements in August of this year, looking for the most qualified individuals to assist us with the design build of a wastewater treatment plant. They call it a WRRF. I don't know if I'll ever get that term switched around with the wastewater treatment plant. So we did receive 2 respondents to the RFQ. Both received interviews, both very qualified firms, impressive resumes. We did we ranked them based on our sheet and selected the Shook construction team as our recommended firm to proceed with the design-build contract. So at the podium, we have Mr. Beck, yes? Shook?
Randy couldn't be here today. I'm Matt Danis.
Oh, I'm sorry. All right, Matt and Dave. So obviously, I don't know these folks very well, but they are here to answer any questions that the
Yes.
board may have.
And due to Mr. Armbruster having to leave for a medical appointment, you folks get the honor of tooting your own horn and giving us your resume so that everybody can understand why we selected you.
Thank you, Commissioners. We'll try to be humble while tooting our own horn. My name is Matt Danis. I've been with Shook Construction for 20 years now. I lead our operation in Northeast Ohio. We're a Ohio-based firm celebrating our 99th year in business. Next year will be 100. We're excited for that. The backbone of our business is water and wastewater treatment, water resource recovery facilities, as we're going to help Karen learn. That's what WRRF stands for. But this is what we do in everywhere that we work. We are experts in Ohio and nationally at this type of construction. For a design build delivery, we partnered with our national leading design partner, Kimley Horn. And I'm going to ask my teammate Dave McAllips to introduce his firm and the sub-consultants that are going to be supporting them in that effort.
Thank you.
So as Matt said, I'm Dave McAllips with Kimley Horn. Kimley Horn is about a 10,000 person, 145-ish offices across the United States. We're, like I said, multidisciplinary, do a lot of municipal services, have a very, very strong wastewater group, and we're going to be bringing resources from throughout the local and throughout the country as needed to support this project. The team is made up of not only Kimley Horn, but we also have a consulting firm, Brown & Caldwell. Brown & Caldwell is about 3,000 people. They only do wastewater. They're also a national firm. We've teamed with them on other projects throughout the country. We also have a firm, Geosyntec. Geosyntec is an interesting firm in the sense that they specialize in permitting. They're considered to be one of the top, if not the top firms in the state of Ohio when it comes to working through the Ohio EPA regulatory process. Building a brand-new greenfield wastewater treatment plant is going to require a lot of interaction with the Ohio EPA. So having somebody like Geosyntec on our team who specializes in that is very important. Another key sub-consultant is RWS Global. RWS Global specializes in, and they're a global company, literally global company, offices throughout the world, and they specialize in educational components. One of the things that we understand we're trying to do here is not only make this a place that will help in terms of treatment, help in terms of improving the environment, but also provide an educational component to the wastewater facility that will educate the public. Also, hopefully use it to help train wastewater treatment plant operators for the state of Ohio, which is actually a need and something that there is a shortage of. So it's kind of using Lorain Community College is what we understand, using a local college like that and providing them that training facility will also be beneficial to the entire state, not just for the county. And then we have a couple other local firms that will be assisting us in geotech and surveying, but we've put together a team that we feel provides all the different aspects, the expertise in all the different aspects of this facility and what the plan is for the future.
Thank you. And by the way, if you're looking for that education component, I'll give a shameless plug for Lorain County Community College because they can deliver long-distance learning in a very effective and experienced way to 21 other junior colleges or community colleges around the state, as well as 14 other four-year universities. They already have the delivery mechanism for that in place.
I think that's very much part of the plan, so appreciate that. So this team has come together to partner with the county on this journey. As Karen said, we were shortlisted against a very capable competitor we know very well. We're very pleased to have the opportunity to be in front of you today. This initial engagement is to work on some very early activities that need to happen. Almost every decision that we'll make in partnership with the engineer, the county engineer, is going to be based off of the site that we land on. So that has not been determined. That's the work that is ahead of us, but there's significant due diligence to understand environmental impact, the OEPA's opinion on potential sites, cost impacts. So this is an initial engagement to focus on that site selection aspect and other early conversations in the process.
Thank you.
How's the, what's the time frame? Because we already hired a firm to start looking.
Right, we're
So do we have
meeting,
time frames?
I don't
like-
have a,
Like next month, I'd like to put a shovel in the ground? I mean, that's kind of what I'm looking for.
I don't have a timeline to share with you. We're meeting on a weekly basis as our
But they're gonna be part of the
partners-
team now
Yes,
as-
they are part
okay.
of the team now. So we were waiting to be under contract with them in order to be able to proceed with initial site selections. Because there's a lot of things I didn't realize that go into selecting a site to build this plant on. Whether or not we need to be close to the lake, whether or not we need to be close to Route 2 or the railroad tracks, or, how you're going to get it from the plant where you're going to discharge it to. Is the EPA going to allow you to do those things? So that's where their expertise comes in, and before we go out there and make a selection and then come back and say, well, we shouldn't have done that, we should have been over here. So by getting these folks involved early on in the process, it's going to help us make a better decision when we finalize that site location.
Thank you.
And the money's coming from professional services out of the engineer's account?
Yeah, so if
That's
you,
what it
if the
says
board
here.
recalls, we did receive a $750,000
Federal grant?
grant
Yeah.
through Congressman Lada's office.
Yeah.
So those funds, we're trying to draw those down to the county that will pay the majority of the cost of the contract.
Okay.
You want that?
And so those funds, they will be housed in a separate sub-fund under the sanitary engineers fund, but a separate sub-fund in order to keep those
Right.
funds from being commingled with other projects and whatnot, so.
So are we gonna have to, any shortcomings coming from the general fund?
No, I think that's
I think we got enough already in the engineer, in the
Based-
sanitary.
based off the grant that we hope to
Okay.
pull down, and, yeah.
And we're not hoping to get the grant, we got the grant. We just got- we just don't have.
Gotta get our hands on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so I guess that would be, if that grant is, there's a possibility we may need to advance funds, but it would not be, again, it'd be in advance funds we would anticipate getting back.
Okay.
Once those grant funds are received.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we'd like to have it done yesterday, so welcome aboard.
Welcome. Thank you for coming
Thank
in.
you.
Yeah, thanks for coming in today.
Yep.
Thank you.
Anything further? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Number 28, reject a bid received by Nairn and Sons, Inc. for the West River Road Pump Station Replacement Project. One bid was received and exceeded the original estimate by more than 20%.
Get so moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Developmental Disabilities, 29, declaring it necessary to levy a tax in excess of 10 mil. Limitation for developmental disabilities at .85 mil for 5 years to be placed on the May 5th, 26 ballot for the entire Lorain County territory to be placed on the tax duplicate for 26, first due for collection in 27.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, it's your turn.
Well, good morning.
Good morning.
I am Amber Fisher. I'm the superintendent of the Lorain County Board of Developmental Disabilities, and I wanted to thank the Board of Commissioners for allowing me to speak today. I'll be brief about Murray Ridge Center's request to be on the May ballot for a 0.85 mils levy. I would also like to thank the newer commissioners for taking time to meet with me about the important work that Murray Ridge does on behalf of more than 3,000 Lorain County children and adults with developmental disabilities, and also to allow me to explain to them the absolutely essential nature of this ballot issue. Let me also begin by expressing great gratitude to the citizens of Lorain County for supporting our programs and for recognizing the importance of these for children and adults with developmental disabilities that are their neighbors, their friends, their family members, and their fellow citizens. We truly appreciate the citizens of Lorain County, and at Murray Ridge, we work every single day to try to be very good stewards of public funds. And we do so in attempting to fulfill our mission on behalf of those we serve also. Just very quickly to go over some of the very key services that we provide. I had mentioned earlier we provide lifelong services, so we start at the very beginning. Early intervention is for children ages 0 to 3 who have developmental delays. If you've read any of the literature about this program, the returns are enormous in terms of the lifelong impact that these early intervention services provide over the lifetime of the children that participate. Last year, we served more than 1,100 infants and toddlers through early intervention. We also have Murray Ridge School, which educates some of the county's children with the most significant disabilities, including medical disabilities, along with the intellectual disabilities, including behavioral challenges. And we're very, very proud of our school and need this levy to be able to continue to operate the school. We provide for adults day services and vocational opportunities and supports. We feel that every adult, has a need for some sort of activity during the day, and we supplement that. And often the alternative would be for them to sit home and do nothing. So we feel that that's a very important program. Residential services, we provide to hundreds of individuals with developmental disabilities through our Meister Road Group Home and also through funding privately operated residential facilities. Many of the people in residential placement have caregivers who are no longer with us or who have aged to the point that they can't have the individuals any longer in the family home. We provide family support to families that have children and adults with developmental disabilities at home, abuse and neglect investigation and prevention, and emergency interventions. These are just some of the key programs that we provide. And I want to emphasize, during 2025, we have really, really tightened the belt. We have looked at every possible way to reduce the costs for continuing to provide the services that we currently provide. This levy is not to increase services. It is to preserve the services that we're currently providing to Lorain County citizens and to also be able to address any kind of additional emergencies that might arise. Regarding the levy request, I'd just like to say that Murray Ridge has not, despite inflation and significantly increasing needs, we have not asked for any additional money in more than 12 years. After COVID, there was an enormous shortage of direct care workers to take care of people with developmental disabilities. This was an emergency. Particularly in the residential facilities. It was a dangerous situation, and it was a very frightening time for the developmental disability system. Consequently, the state made the decision to increase rates for a Medicaid waiver program that helps us pull down federal funding to assist individuals. And those rates went up very significantly, and as a result, county boards of developmental disabilities had more match money to pay in order to draw in, critically important direct caregivers to serve our folks. As a result, county boards of DD throughout the state of Ohio are finding themselves in a deficit spending situation. We will be going into 2026 with an anticipated $5 million reduction to our reserves. And again, this levy is to preserve the critical services that we provide, including the early intervention, which is just critically important and funded primarily through local levy dollars. It's been a long meeting, but I just would like to open this up to any questions that any of you have.
What is your total annual budget?
It's going to be about $40 million.
How much of that's property tax?
Well, if we pass this levy, it will be about 70%.
So the latest petition drive that's out there would pretty much devastate the organization then. They want to remove property tax.
It would indeed.
Sorry, I'm asking everybody that comes up to,
Yes.
so that the public can see, where that money's going.
Right.
And the benefits.
And I've been through your facility in the past, and I will say it's eye-opening, the services you provide, the importance of those services to make people with disabilities productive and to live a comfortable life. And it's overwhelming. And, I was going to ask you a couple questions about your increases and all that in your budget and how you've been fiscally responsible with your money over the years. And I tried to participate many times, and you guys know that, with my own business, and we just couldn't get a fit. But it's a very, very important service for the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And, I would just like to invite anybody present, anybody watching, to come out and see our services, to go through Murray Ridge School. We would love to have people come out. I can stand here and talk to you all day long about what we do, but a picture paints 1,000 words, and actually being immersed in it and watching it paints more than 1,000 words. So we are happy to have people out. And I want to thank the commissioners for taking such an interest and for coming out and visiting with us and seeing what we do firsthand. So thank you so much for your
You're welcome.
remarks.
One of the sad things is to see that how you guys didn't have the funding to do and plus regulatory reasons to eliminate the facility where you had to go out to a private company to, administer the service for those in need. And I don't know if you want to touch a little bit of basis on that and to show that you guys are, really tight budgeted.
Sure. Well, the reduction to our adult program that you reference was as a result of some requirements about not doing service and support administration, which is considered Medicaid case management, and also providing direct services to people enrolled on Medicaid waiver programs, which some but not all of our adults are. Those who receive residential services are enrolled on those waivers so that we can pull down federal funding. But as a result of that requirement, which took effect, and we had to be completely out of the business of directly serving people with adult services by March 1st of 2024. As a result of that, instead of Murray Ridge operating 3 adult centers, we now operate 2 adult services centers directly with individuals who are not on Medicaid waivers, don't have the residential services, and there is a private provider now doing day services out of the Elyria location where we also used to do services. But if I may, this sort of segues into a very important point it's important for the community to understand that Murray Ridge Center provides many services directly, but we also fund services that are provided by private providers to local citizens with developmental disabilities. So we do both. So right now, for example, in our Special Olympics program, I always like to talk about the sports, and that's another program that we cannot continue to run, incidentally, if we don't pass the levy. But about half of the adult participants in our Special Olympics program receive adult services directly from Murray Ridge, and about half receive adult services from private providers, that we provide funding to provide the adult services, and then we welcome those service recipients into our supported living program. So even though the amount of direct service that we provide has gone down a little bit over the years, we fund all these other services that also benefit Lorain County residents, and we pay the non-federal share for many of the Medicaid funded services that are received by citizens with DD.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anything further?
Thank you.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Good luck.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Under the engineer, 30, enter in a 5-year agreement with Blue Technologies for on-base maintenance and subscription licensing in the amount of $20,460.38, which will be paid out of the MVGT computer software account.
Move to approve.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes. Sean, as long as you're here, is that 20,000 a year or 20,000 total for the 5 years?
Is this on? It'd be my understanding that would be the total for the 5 years. However, I can't speak to confirm that. Is there a contract there, Casey? I don't have a copy.
It is the total.
Total for 5 years.
Yes.
Okay.
Total for
Have you guys talked to Todd Sharkey? Are you guys working with him? in
Yes,
regards
yeah.
to
Our
this?
office,
Okay.
we do hire out like our in-house IT. We house a server and that kind of stuff. But we work with Todd all the time. Todd's reviewed that contract with our in-house IT to make sure that they're doing everything that the county needs.
Just to make sure we're protected, that it's not
Absolutely,
a backdoor
yeah.
entry.
Yeah,
that's
no.
all.
Before we entered into that contract, we had meetings with Todd. Todd
Okay,
met
good.
with the folks that we do hire out those services to make sure that
Yeah.
we could work as one unit.
And that's what I don't want to tell you what type of product to buy, but as long as it runs by to make sure it's in our fort of protection, that's all we're worried about, really. So
Yes, this here is on base. It's a program that we use to essentially pull up all our historic records. It's more of like a AutoCAD license, right? It's
Right.
software.
I just don't want people thinking we're trying to tell you how to do it. We just want to make sure we're protected. Yeah, I'm not telling you
we
what
wanna
to
make
buy,
sure-
not to buy.
I think we all
This
want to
is-
make sure we're protected.
Exactly.
We appreciate the work that Todd and his team do
Okay.
on a regular basis for us.
Thanks.
Cool.
Thanks.
Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Sheriff, 31, Board of Commissioners, Lorain County, Ohio, retaining the law firm of Wickens, Herzog, Panza Company to serve as outside legal counsel for Lorain County Sheriff pursuant to Ohio Revised Code 305.14 in association with issues involving emergency 911 operations and regional emergency communication matters.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion.
Yes, we don't have anybody here from the sheriff today, but as we indicated a couple of weeks ago, there's some issues between the new sheriff and the commissioners for 911. I think today you saw that we're handling affairs at 911 through our management team there, through Kurt and Mike and staff in an extremely competent manner. But there are some operational issues that the new sheriff has raised, which likely come from a new pair of eyes on something. And so we had retained counsel for some legal advice. The sheriff is doing the same, but our hope continues to be that this will not resolve in any litigation or discourse. We hope to just all get to where we all understand the same basis of information, can agree on who has not only the authority, but more importantly, who has the responsibility for the multitude of pieces and parts at 911.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm concerned with this resolution. I second it for discussion. I'm finding out more and more information of the previous sheriff and what's going on in October 2024, back to his October 24, in which the sheriff went directly to a judge who authorized the payment of a $40,000 bill to a law firm, which this board did not approve or see. I actually had to get this from someone else that showed companies Ziegler, Tiggs, and Little received the bill, bypassed the system. The statute 305.14 makes it very clear that this board, working with the prosecutor, has the authority to hire legal for other elected officials if we see fit. If not, then this board has the power to not allow it. And then the prosecutor would have to go and file a court, and then we all go, and again, the lawyers make the money off the taxpayers. I don't see a purpose for this. I think it's very clear who runs 911. I think it's very clear that the statute says who runs 911. I think it's clear who's in charge of the communications at 911. And I find this extremely insulting and a waste of taxpayer funds. And there's no limit on how much money can be spent. I see this could go as far as like what happened last time when I saw this bill recently for $40,000, and we don't even know what it's for. And that, granted, that was the previous sheriff, and that was some of the political gains and lawfare that was going on last year. But based on my reading of 305.14, we have the power to either let them hire an attorney or we don't. So I will not be supporting this resolution.
I have one concern on it myself. The sheriff's office has a legal counsel on staff, and
forgot about that.
I hate to see us hiring outside counsel when we have our own counsel, and I'm torn on this. It just, I want them to have what's within their rights and what their wants are, but I just look at this and it doesn't sit well with me, to be honest with you. But
I agree. As in my opening remarks, I don't see the need for this. But nonetheless, the sheriff has the right to put this resolution on the agenda. He has done so, and we owe him the obligation to process it, and we are going to do that today.
Well, I do appreciate the fact that he's following the process versus the previous that did not. And to this day, there's still legal bills that we're still trying to find on who gave who the authority. Does another elected official have the ability to go to a judge, and then you look at the bill, and I have the bill if anybody likes to see it, where it says the auditor's office wrote on there per judicial order, and it was paid, which I feel, I gotta watch my words here, was not appropriate, and I feel it was in violation of statute 305.14. But that was the previous one. At least this sheriff who wishes to sue us, as that's how I see it, wants to ask our permission to use taxpayer monies to do so, which I don't think that is necessary. He has his own in-house counsel, as Commissioner Gallagher has reported, and if he has an issue, we can work that out. Even the prosecutor offered to sit down with us and go through that. But he feels, I think the county prosecutor feels he's conflicted and wishes he could just set us down in a room and work this out. So I don't think lawyers need to keep making more money, but that's just my opinion.
Well, hopefully
That's one
what
of
we
three.
said here, will bring us to the table rather than spending money on legal if it does pass.
Well, I think this is bigger than just what we're seeing, but I'm not going to go there.
Anything further? Commissioner Rendell?
Aye.
Commissioner Moore?
No.
Commissioner Gallagher?
Aye.
Administrator's update. I had to think what I was doing for a minute.
I just have a very short,
Thank you.
it's not going to be, well, everybody else got to talk. I feel like I'm getting slighted. No, it's nearing the end of the year, and I just wanted to take an opportunity to just say thank you to all of our staff. So throughout the year, the commissioner staff are required to do a lot of things. Some of those things, they have to jump through hoops of fire in order to get them done in a timely manner. And as we close out the year, I thought it would be appropriate just to say, hey, thanks a lot for everything that you do. We all appreciate you. And I don't want to say too much, because then they're going to expect a raise.
Man, you're cold.
Thank you, Karen. And to that regard, we don't move as fast as we could, but we are moving faster than we used to.
Yes,
There you
yes.
go.
No, I do appreciate the staff. They do an excellent job, and they're always there whenever I need them. So
Yes.
just a big thank you out to the staff.
Very good.
Is that it?
That's it.
Okay, so Monday, January 12th at 9:30 will be the Commissioners' Organizational Meeting. That same day at 11 o'clock, a Transportation Improvement District meeting. Thursday, January 15th at 10 o'clock will be the Land Bank meeting. Friday, January 16th at 9:30 will be the Commissioners' meeting. Tuesday, January 20th at 4:30 Stormwater. Tuesday, January 27th at 11 Investment. January 27th at 3:30 Commissioners' meeting. And then Friday, January 30th at 9:30 Commissioners' meeting.
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Rendell.
Aye.
Commissioner Gallagher.
Aye.
New business.
Let's go first. You.
New business, I just want to remind everybody, this is our last meeting of 2025. Our first meeting will be the 12th of January 2026, and that will be 2026 is our celebration of the 250th year of the country. We have, as we said, we have some staff here, Teresa and Chris, who are spearheading our activities. And today, we have Janine Donaldson with us, and she brought some bodyguards and would like to address a program that they're doing, which I think has some countywide, interest. And so I thought she should have an opportunity to talk about it.
It's been a while since, hello, Janine Donaldson.
Yeah, good.
Lorain, Ohio. I'm the executive director of the Elyria YWCA, but I'm here on behalf of the Lorain County Civic Engagement Coalition. And if that name isn't familiar to you, it's because it went through a name change. Prior to being the Lorain County Civic Engagement Coalition, it was the Census Coalition. So back in 2020, there was a coalition formed in Lorain County to go out and implement the census taking in the county. They did so well at that they received national recognition for being able to get into community and citizens' homes. And so because of that, the local foundations, Community Foundation, Nord Family, Stocker, and the Nordson Corporation Foundation wanted that entity to continue. And so those of us that are here right now, we've lost one of our members. We had to work. We wanted to talk to you about the work that we are now engaging in civically. So It is the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, or it will be in 2026. And I am reminiscent of when I worked with Dave Greenspan and Gary Gibbs on this 200th anniversary for the county. So our coalition has created, through the YWCA, because our coalition doesn't have its own 501c3, but the YWCA and the coalition is working on, on January 20th, we're launching the Spirit of 76 Speaker Series. Now, some of you might be old enough in the room to remember when Lorain County had its own, when Lorain County Community College had its own Prominent American lecture series. And they brought in a wide range of speakers nationally known. Well, we've got an exceptional bunch of speakers that are coming in too. We just can't pay like people would. In fact, the way we got our speakers was I would actually go up to people and say, who do you know? Who's the most famous person that you know? I think I asked you that question, Commissioner Moore.
And you were it.
Who's the most famous person that you know that if you asked them to come and speak at Lorain, in Lorain County, that they would do that at no charge because of you? And so we've come up with some names, but there's other names that we are going to have to pay them, but we've kept the honorariums very minimal. So on January 20th, well, let me back up real quick. I'm just trying to rush because I know a lot of people have been waiting. But there's a book called Bowling Alone. And then the documentary that goes along with it is called Join or Die. And the book Bowling Alone was written by Robert Putnam. He's from Port Clinton. He's a retired Harvard professor. But he looked at the social capital that has been lost across the country because people don't join organizations anymore. They don't join Rotary clubs and Kiwanis clubs. And that's actually, I think, where my husband and Commissioner Riddell, they went to a Kiwanis club football game at the Brown Stadium. But that's way back a long time ago.
When they won.
They won, sure. So church attendance is down. We're talking about our kids who are just spending all of their time on screens. We're building all of these parks for them to go to and things that they can access, but they're staying home. People aren't even having dinner parties in their home and meeting their neighbors. So the idea was that people are still bowling, but they're not bowling in leagues. They're bowling alone. And then when you add to that, the social capital that we're losing from that, that's why they wrote the documentary, or that's why they created the documentary Join or Die, because there is a direct correlation with the length of life, with loneliness in communities, and just in general not creating that fabric. So with that in mind, we wanted to bring people out of their silos to celebrate the 250th anniversary. We wanted to bring people out across political lines to celebrate the 250th anniversary. We believe that talking, period, is going to enhance our community, enhance our county. You know, I'm not from Lorain County originally, but I will tell you the pride that I have of this county, because when you look at its history, regardless of what it is, and what community it is, we've been progressive. When you look at our community colleges, when you look at the hospitals in the area, when you look at the manufacturing, but now we're switching over to tourism, we've been a very progressive county. So let's see, January 20th, our first speaker lecturer is going to be former Governor John Kasich. And then in February, we have Alex Narath. Alex is with the Cato Institute. Cato Institute is a conservative institute out of Washington, D.C. He's going to be talking on immigration. We've got in March, Claire Babineau-Fontenot. Claire is the CEO of Feeding America. Feeding America is the umbrella organization for all of the food banks that get services. April is Simon Kornblith. Simon is out of San Francisco. He is a Lorain County native. He went to Lake Ridge Academy, and he is working on AI One of the leading AI companies is called Anthropic, and what Anthropic does is that it really looks into the human side of, if you can say human side of AI. And so he is going to talk about do no harm, and that's going to be in April. In May, we have Bishop William Barber III. He is a Yale professor, and he is going to be talking about public policy and public theology. And then our final speaker in June, and we'll have a culminating event to celebrate the signing of the Declaration of Independence, is Major Carter. Major has written a book called Reclaiming Your Community. You don't have to move out of your neighborhood to live in a good one. To live in a better one. So it's so, wow. We are so impressed with the lineup. But what I'd like to do, and I know that the commissioners have already seen this information. I chatted with Dave Greenspan. I will be talking more with the Visitors Bureau because we would like for them to help us market this program and make it robust. And maybe what we can do over the time is turn it back over to LCC, and they can bring the speakers because they have better budgets than we have. So I'm going to turn it over to, joining me today is Kimberly Hazelgrove and also Ms. Torres. I forgot my good friend's name. Eileen. I'm sorry, I'm not normally nervous, but apparently I am today. Eileen Torres is here, and all of them are part of the coalition. There's probably about 25 different organizations that are part of this coalition, and these are the ones that were able to come out and support me today. And Eileen is actually a recently elected City of Lorain council person, so she found today's meeting very interesting. But I'm going to ask Kim Hazelgrove from Second Harvest Food Bank to just wrap this up for me. Thank you.
Good morning, commissioners and everybody in attendance. I'm just saying that we're very excited to offer this for Lorain County. We will be providing outlets, venues around Lorain County, so it won't just be at one place, but it will be in the afternoon. And because of the generous donations of some sponsors, we are still looking for more sponsors, but we are going to be able to provide this event to community members free of cost. And registration will be required. So we want to thank you personally on behalf of the coalition that we are very grateful for your support. We are very grateful to have the opportunity to uplift Lorain County. This is a venue that is going to be bringing people into Lorain County from surrounding communities and counties, and we're just very grateful for your support. So thank you so very much.
Questions?
No.
Well, what we're looking at, the whole purpose of what you were, I don't know if you got in here when we were talking about the Visitors Bureau.
I did.
And this is exactly what it's for, and if you need help mitigating.
I'm so glad you said that.
I had to beat you to it because I know you probably already speed dialed Gary.
She already asked you.
I know, well.
I asked him for a speaker recommendation.
Yeah, that's different. And she wouldn't let me speak, so I thought, okay, forget it. So. But no, I appreciate this. This is, we're trying to gather, as Teresa's kind of point for us, this whole celebration.
And we would like the commissioners to be there. This is going to be a robust speaker series, and we want the community to come out and interface with each other, to start talking to each other so that we can continue the proud legacy that we have here in Lorain County, because it is amazing.
Well, thank you, Janine, and guess Janine and I have known each other, I hate to say it, over 40 years.
Wow, yeah.
But
we used to do those. Thank you, Commissioner. Thank you all. And Marty, I've not met you yet, but I'm going to call you.
That sounds good. I'd be glad to meet you.
All right, thank you.
Well, thank all three of you. Thank you. Ready?
Ready.
Okay. What we're looking at, there, just to let you know, I was talking to Commissioner Riddell. I said he was talking about how we operate here with government. And the thing is, a lot of the great things we are doing, you just don't read about and you don't see. A lot of efficiencies behind the scenes with our management teams, not replacing employees as we grow, as we get more and more efficient. So there's a lot of behind the scenes that you just don't get that we're proud of at the stage. We are sponsoring through the Visitors Bureau close to $750,000 to help the stage out with Rocket on the River. This board has reduced property taxes. The state of Ohio allowed the county commissioners to participate in, it's called a piggyback, and we actually were able to give $17.2 million back to homeowners. Another success story recently you saw was the $2.8 million that Karen's been working on with me with VIA. It's something that we initiated in 24. It's been a success. We had a kickoff here, or I don't know, a kickoff, but a public speaking with in regards to 2.8 million, and we had that announcement. So in 25, that's just a couple things that this board has done. And just to let you know what to look for 2026, you're going to see this, as you can see with the team that came in today to talk about the Westerly Sewer Project. Not moving fast enough, it never will in government, but it is huge that this is getting kicked off. We've hired a couple of consultants, they're working with our teams. They'll be working on that sewer project. We're looking at in February of this year, we'll be talking about the expansion on the airport. That's what's coming. Also, hopefully by the end of January, maybe the first part of February, you will see the discussion, hopefully a final discussion on the jail, on what is going to be the size, what is going to be the scope, and the affordability of it. And basically, we should, hopefully by mid-June, we should have the right buyer for the Midway Mall. So that's what we're basically, I'm also, as I mentioned earlier, I'm working with our state legislators. As I was talking about how eBay earlier in the meeting takes the taxes out and pays us, that's how come the internet in the state of Ohio, we still get that sales tax because of the state of Ohio passed legislation taking it right from these companies. My concern, and I've shared this with our state senator and our reps, is that's not happening with VRBOs and Airbnbs. The fact that I found, or I should say this individual we hired, found 324 in Lorain County, and I know that we only have 5 that are paying. That's a lot of lost revenue that we should be using for programs, what you just heard. And they're not paying their fair share, not competing with business owners that are actually paying their taxes. And so we'll be working with that. So those are just a couple of things that we're working on as a board. And I just thought it'd be nice as their last meeting, at least let people know it's coming. And we're going to be ready for it as the second fastest growing county. Hopefully we can shoot for number 1. Because the people said no more taxes, so the only way to grow our tax base is to grow our people and to grow our communities and have businesses come here, and we'll grow from within.
We need to grow some jobs so that we can retain some young people, because all we're doing is growing old people like Janine and me. So
I think, speak for yourself, she's already.
So thank you. And our last segment of the meeting, is that that's
It's public comment if there's no other new
public
business.
comment. There's no other business.
Well, I'd like to say something too.
Well,
if I could.
commissioners, step up.
That's right. Couple things working on for 2026. Trustees came to us, or actually Don Romancic was working with us about a project where a township had a culvert that was out for 16 years, and 271 homes were had one mean of egress, and it violates all kinds of current codes, but because it's there and it's been there 16 years, Don has spearheaded with my administrative assistant, myself, and the trustees, and many community members. We applied for a grant as of yesterday. Hopefully we'll get it. Might not get it first round, but it's to correct a 16-year-old problem, which will also include a donation of land to the land bank, which would enhance that area in Carlisle Township. We have a couple of projects that we're working on that are federally related. We're not at liberty to discuss what they're about locally, but they're going to enhance the community here. It's going to help us with potentially some national security issues. But those are coming up, and they take a long time. Meet with federal officials and different agencies. So those we're working on too. Solid waste and Lorain County Beautiful. We work on special projects out there, taking a community-driven effort with volunteerism and beautifying our county. We have a couple, Finley State Park, we're doing a pollinator garden, and we're doing a couple other, we have a couple other ones out there in the works right now. And prescription drugs we're looking at saving money for our employees with prescription drugs, possibly putting in a pharmacy for it. That's coming up this year. And, well, the last thing I'd like to say is Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everybody. And I will yield to the public comment. Unless there's anything else.
You survived your first year.
Yeah, learned a lot.
Gerald Phillips?
Is he awake?
Mr. Rendell indicated that he was shocked he didn't get equal time with the newspaper. Well, look who's calling the kettle black. We don't get equal time to speak at this, and we're taxpayers, and we put you in an office. I'm shocked that Mr. Armbruster and his assistant makes about $300K a year, and that doesn't account the 14% PRS and hospitalization. I like that job. I'll apply for it. Also, I'm shocked that the juvenile court's got to sue the commissioners, and now the sheriff is going to, hire outside counsel. As a taxpayer of Lorain County, I agree with Mr. Moore. This is a waste of taxpayer dollars. I would have voted no. The mega site, let's talk about the lack of transparency. There's a lot of issues on the west side, 6119. Let's have openness in government, not secrecy. 2024, we had over 150 people making over $100,000. That's about $20 million. That's 25% of the budget. You want to find a way to cut costs. Look at the needless people who aren't really, cutting jobs. I'm concerned about the December 16th meeting at the Avon Lake School Board, where it got very ugly, and I believe that there was unprofessional conduct on both sides between the commissioners and the board. They were upset that they got cut $1.4 million. The Total Eclipse lost money in Avon Lake. It was a waste of time. I serve on the Medina Creative Housing. It's a board in Medina County that deals with the special needs, and I believe that's one of the best departments to handle the disabilities. I mean, it's an ideal model. Thank you.
And, evidently, Brian, we out-sustained him. So, William Zimmerman, you're last in the alphabet. We're going to give you the last comment for 2025.
Thank you for that.
2026, I think we're going to have a new rule, though. If you're going to speak, you need to sit in the front row.
I'd be glad to speak to that.
William Zimmerman, Avon Lake. So I'd like to talk about the new Russia meeting that I attended. There are 300 people there. And a gentleman asked, anybody who's for this, please stand up. Not a single person did. They don't want rezoning there. They all said they don't want it. They were blatantly clear about it. Nobody cares. They tabled it for 3 more weeks, going to try again on the 5th of January. And I'm sure the citizens will show up again and make their claims. At some point, public officials need to listen to the citizens. They don't want the mega site. They don't want the deal. They don't want the 6119 coming down that side. I think that that's most important. before this year's out that you all recognize they don't want it. And I don't even live there, but I went to hear. So I'd like to talk about what happened with the Midway Mall deal. So supposedly, due to due diligence, the company backs out. Well, I have sources that tell me other things. And they tell me that there's federal officials presented ICP with a search warrant that prevented them from going through with the deal. Because they want documents, they want information. So my question to end the year will be, who's going to jail? That's the question I have. Who's going to jail on the mall deal? Hope you all have wonderful holidays.
Thank you.
Anything else?
There being no further business, meeting is adjourned. Thank you for staying, all of you who did.
Yeah. Yep. Thank you for suffering.
Molly Batman.
Especially for the